Peace and shalom, family. Was good. This is DivineProspect, Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, and we're here for another Saturday night live session. When I first started, I thought I had some additional time. I thought I had an extra hour or so, but I realized that today was daylight savings time. So we lost the whole hour, okay? So it's much later than I anticipated. I was on Facebook for a bit because doing a live session because I wanted to bring y'all over here to YouTube live. And the main reason why I like to come over to YouTube live is I like to put content on the channel, but as well as it allows me to share my screen, in which Facebook Live doesn't allow me to do, right? But I still want to devote these live stream sessions to the audience and subscribers for Kingdom Harbinger Ministries because they really want this type of content, you know what I'm saying? And I realize this is something that is very popular on this channel. And a lot of people all the time, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram to YouTube, always message me and saying, are you going live? Are you going live? Are you going live? So, you know, I'm grateful to know that people actually enjoy these live stream sessions, and people have a good deal of, it's very intriguing, you know, for them to see something that's real, something that's live, and even giving them an opportunity to actually interact and engage as well. So I'm gonna continue to do these live streams for y'all because I know you'll enjoy it, but I also want to still add other quality content to the channel as things begin to grow, because they will start growing even more so exponentially. All right. Yah willing. All right. So let me go ahead and see what y'all doing in the chat. Let me give y'all the usual shout outs. So shout out to Joseph Jones. Shout out to Kiefer Avia Ben Israel, the Black F1, Pieces of Me, Michael Pug, Steve Craig, Tina W, Zazaya, Banya Hawada, Daniel Knox, Yanib Yasharala. All right. Make sure you thumbs up this video if you enjoyed the content. Also share this link so we can bring other people into the information that we're about to go into on tonight or this morning. And let's go ahead and get started. All right. So I'm gonna give you another minute or so to get in here. Shout out to Analab Yasharala. If you want to shout out, hit 1. If I didn't say your name and you want to shout out, hit 1. All right. So let me give you all a second. And then I'm gonna bring up my Facebook post, right? Because I want to go into that. I definitely want to share that with y'all real quick. So that's pretty much what I want to do. I'm gonna read for y'all a inquiry that was sent to me. And that is the nature of me addressing what I'm about to address, you know, what y'all see in the title. And then I'm going to transition from there to a few other posts that I put up in regards to Cotton Mathers. And if you don't know who Cotton Mather is, y'all need to go back and research, or you can just wait till later on in the broadcast and I'll reveal it to you so you guys can check it out, the information that I actually posted on Facebook. You know, some of y'all who are not friends with me on Facebook, look up DivineProspect. I have 2 pages on there, and if you can't, I mean, you can like my public figure page, my personal page. I'm probably at 5,000 friends already. You can still send me a friend request, but if you can't, just hit follow and inbox me so that way I could be aware of your presence on there and we can engage and interact. All right. But I post a lot of recent stuff on Facebook. I speak about a lot of this stuff when I do these live streams, but if you really want to get in real time the things that I'm sharing, the information I'm putting out there, is typically on Facebook, and then I transition it to YouTube for you guys, and then occasionally I may put something on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter that much, but I have to have a Twitter account in order to you know, branch out in that area and interface and mingle with people in there. But I may put something up on Instagram as well. I'm not as active on Instagram like I was before, but I'll work on that as well. But I'm mostly active on Facebook and YouTube. All right. And the descriptions will be how you can reach me on those various social media platforms will be in the description after this video is over. All right. You can go back and check that out. All right. All right, family. So we're going to get started. Let me go ahead and bring up this post real quick that I posted. Right. And then I'm gonna share it with you. I think I should, let me just copy and paste it into a document and copy and paste it and just drop it in the document, and we can go into it. I can put it in this document. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get into this. I'm gonna have to show my screen in a second, so just give me a moment. All right, let's see what's up. Shout out to Madeline and Rich Nagai. Shout out to Sam Bone. Shout out to the Royal 12. Shout out to Mariel Ben Yahuwah in the building. Like I said, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, click the thumbs up. All right, share this link. Let's bring other people in here, and let's have some fun tonight. All right. But remember, we're off an hour, so I can't be on here as long as I would like to, because we just lost an hour. But time that we do have, we're gonna make the most out of it. Shout out to Mr. Black Culture. All right. All right, family. Again, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. All right. So let's get started, man. So I made a post. Now, Mo, before I show you the post, let me read the email inquiry that I received from the sister. Okay. I'm not gonna say the sister's name because I'm sure she wants to stay anonymous, and that's fine. I'm just gonna read what she sent me that she wanted me to address. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and read what she sent me. All right. And again, I'm gonna keep the sister's name anonymous. I'm just gonna read what she sent me. Now, if she's in the group chat, that's fine. And at the end of this session, I also want to give a shout out to a brother's business that I told him that I would bring to y'all attention, because I made a post on health, because you know I do health too. I made a post on health, and he commented because he has some products that ties into that, and I told him that I'd give him a shout out. So I'm gonna remember to give him a shout out. All right. And if any of y'all got any businesses, organizations that you're doing things to help the community, and you need our community to patronize you, definitely reach out to me via email, kingdomharbinger@gmail.com, and I'll give you a feature here on this channel. All right. Because we're all about community and autonomy. All right. And you should already know that by now. All right. So let me get and read this real quick. Shout out to Miley Batson in the building. And I think I got everybody. So let me go ahead and get started. All right. So I'm gonna read this. So she sent me an inbox message and an email of this, right? I think they're the same, if I recall correctly, but let me just confirm it. One may have more details than the other. I'm gonna read the one that has the most details. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. No, it's not that one. I think this is it. No, that's not it either. Hold on. Let me just put the email in. Let's do a search. All right. That's not it. Yeah, I think it was just, oh, yes, it's here. All right, let's see. I think that's it. Let me see. Now, I don't know. I don't think, I don't have the name of the individual who made the post. Okay. I don't know his name. And that's good because I'm not trying to put him on blast out there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just going to read something that she sent me, and then I'm going to address it. Okay. So let me go ahead and read the message that she sent me. Right. So she says, let me see, is it better to read? Might be better to read on Let's read here. All right. So and I will show it to y'all, but I don't want y'all to see any names, anything like that. So let me just read it. All right. She says, Shalom, Brother Divine. I'm fairly new coming into this truth. However, since learning of this, I have literally immersed myself into research and studying to get more understanding. You have been a great tool in my learning process, and I really appreciate your teaching style and methods, which is why I'm sending you this message. A young Israelite brother made a post today that has me questioning how he came to this understanding, and I really wanted to know your opinion on it, or if you have any resources that you know of that you could refer me to get more understanding in reference to this claim. I've copied and pasted below, and my question is about the word hallelujah and the proper name of the Most High being Ahaya. The post is pasted below. Now, the Ahaya thing, I'll probably touch on that briefly, but I really just want to get into this element of the message, right? So just follow me, okay? So she says, no, so the post says that she shared, I would like to share something with you, brothers and sisters. Be careful when you use the expression hallelujah. Many people don't know that hallelujah, hallelujah, praise the shining one, praise Lucifer, praise Satan. If you want to worship the Most High, instead we say praise Ahaya or bless Ahaya, the great I am, the Most High. Now, family, those of you who know Hebrew can already see the issue right there. It's a big problem. But I'm going to get into my post in regards to this. But that's a huge issue right there, right? But my post deals with the following, and then I'm going to go into that statement about hallelujah. He says, know which names to call on. Know who you worship. Here is the proof. And then he puts Strong's exhaustive concordance. Interesting, right? And he puts the entry Lucifer from halal in the sense of brightness. Keep that in mind. The morning star, Lucifer. Okay? See Hebrew halal, forms and transliterations. After Lucifer's fall, his status and name became Satan, because Lucifer transformed into Satan, which means adversary towards the Most High. And this is Hillel. Satan used to be Lucifer, the morning star. Every morning when the sun came up, he would come up before the throne of the Most High together with Michael and the other angels, singing before the throne of Ahaya. But Satan fell, became haughty and jealous of the Most High and his creation. Satan is no morning star anymore. After the Most High removed him out of heaven to another department called earth, he lost his light-giving Lucifer status. That's interesting, okay? But his name didn't change. His status changed, but he still had the same name, which I think is very interesting. But let's keep going. So now he is Satan, the adversary against Ahaya and the house of Israel and the Most High's creation. Why? Ask him. He is angry because Ahaya kicked him out of heaven as a punishment for his evil and sins. He went too far, and he is going to be judged for that, and he knows it. His time is running out. According to Bible prophecy, Satan will go to hell. He will be condemned by the Most High in Christ to 1,000 years in hell. The bottomless pit. Here below, documented proof for the root of the word halal or halil, which refers to Lucifer, the shining one, the morning star. Again, attention. Be careful when you use the expression hallelujah, hallelujah, praise the shining one, praise Lucifer, praise Satan. Instead, we say praise Ahaya or bless Ahaya, the great I am, the Most High. Know who you worship. Then he puts Strong's concordance, Hallel, a shining one. Then the original word is Hey Yod Lamed Lamed, part of speech, now masculine, transliteration Hallel, phonetic spelling Hallel, short definition morning, right? And we know the word for morning is boker, right? That's more in line with the word for morning. So I would in morning in regards to the twilight hours of the transitioning from the darkness, which we say Layla, to the day, which is Yom, and that twilight period in between. Remember, there's 3 phases of that twilight period. I've went over this in the past, okay? So right there by itself, that word morning for Hillel, I would just take that out there, right? Even though I could see an allusion to the morning, but I wouldn't put that word morning in there. I would keep that specifically for the word boker, right? But let's keep going. New American Standard Exhaustive Concordance, word origin from halal. Remember the root word halal. Definition: a shining one. NSAB, which is New American Standard Bible Translation, star of the morning. The brown driver Briggs, Isaiah 14:12, right? It says, Isaiah 14:12, how art thou falling, shining one, son of dawn, i.e., star of the morning. Compare the Assyrian Mustilil epithet of Venus A, morning star 3. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, all right? Isaiah 57:60, then it says a now masculine appellative shining one epithet of king of Babylon. So again, he puts this post here. He gives you the brown driver Briggs, and a brown driver Briggs, which is a Hebrew lexicon, tells you explicitly that it's an epithet of king of Babylon. It's very evident when you read the text that that's exactly what's going on there, okay? But let's keep going. Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, Lucifer, from halal in the sense of brightness. Keep that in mind, the word brightness, okay? Because when we look at hallelujah, you see that the word halal there that's been modified is in the PL stem. But we're going to get into that in a second. And that's generally the halalu, which means second person plural. You shall all praise Yah, right? We got to keep some grammatical things in mind as we progress, right? It says the morning star Lucifer, which is interesting because that word doesn't exist in the Hebrew manuscript of the Tanakh, but okay. See Hebrew halal, forms and transliterations, and it gives you that. Then he goes again, attention, be careful when you use the expression hallelujah. Then he goes, do your research, think about it, and share it, please. Praise Ahaya, praise Yeshua, praise the Rawak Kadash, praise the power head. In the name of Yeshaya, Kwam Yasharala, rise Israel, love up, Amen, Shalom, and the post. All right. Then I was hey, can you give some feedback on it? All right. Now, I'm going to go back and show y'all my Facebook post that I did, because the first thing I wanted to address before we get to the hallelujah thing, the bulk of the argument is hinged on this word Lucifer. Okay. So let me get this. Let me get this for y'all. Okay, hold on. Let me get this. Let me bring this up. All right, where is it at? Here it is. So Isaiah 14. Pomodo Sesi Disti Da Kaelo Lucifer. All right, so we're gonna I got the rendering. All right, I'm gonna keep this up here. Let me move this up. I want y'all to see this. All right, and then I want y'all to see my Facebook post. Where's my Facebook post? Here it is. Okay, and let me go to my post. It has 135 likes, and the amount of comments, 50 shares, and there's a lot of comments. It's like over 100 some comments, right? So let me go ahead and let me see if I could bring this out. That's not working. That's interesting. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna just show y'all this so y'all can see this. Okay, there we go. Okay, all right, so let me go ahead and show you this real quick. So the first thing I want to address was dealing with this word Lucifer, right? Because people are spooked out about it and all of that fun stuff, right? Shout out to DJ Soup. Shout out to Sandra Curry. Shout out to Daniel Knox. And you're right, Daniel Knox. You're absolutely right. Shout out to Eliakim Ben Israel. Shout out to Gamaliel Padilla. Shout out to Imhotep Rash. Black power to you as well. Shout out to TMHC TV. Shout out to the people of the book in the building. All right. All right, family. Remember, don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you're enjoying the content so far. All right. So we're gonna get busy. All right, let's get busy. Let me show you my Facebook page. Right. Hit 2 if the audio and visual quality is on point. Hit 2 if the audio and visual quality is on point. All right. So let me go ahead and swap over my screen. Let me go and swap over my screen. All right. There it is right here. All right. All right. So y'all can see my screen right now, right? So I made this post here, and it says Lucifer is an egregore that does not exist in the Hebrew manuscripts of the Tanakh. He is not an ontological being. The entity being spoken of in the context of Isaiah 14 is the king of Babylon. The phrase star of the morning, son of the dawn is an epithet. It's a common noun, not a proper noun. Lucifer, the entity, developed out of the Latin manuscripts of the Bible from the word lux, the genitive lucis. And then you'll see in other manuscripts, it'll actually say Lucifer, and actually put it into a proper noun, and was fostered by church fathers such as Tertullian and Gregory the Great. The concept was later developed to resemble the Greco-Roman deity Pan-Faunus in images. And if you know anything about Pan-Faunus, or you don't know much about Pan-Faunus, all you gotta do is research the origins of Valentine's Day. All right. But anyway, Isaiah 14 and 4a. Now I did a parsing on this, right? And I do this here and there, depending upon what it is I'm speaking about, what it is I'm teaching, right? But if you look here, I actually break it down in Isaiah. So the New American Standard Bible 14:4a says that you will take up this taunt against the king of Babylon, right? And then we have the Hebrew here, and then we have something very interesting where it says va nasa'ata, right? Nasa'at. And we're gonna read what that is, right? Way, which is the prefix, is a conjunction, meaning and, also then, that is indeed. Then we have the verb nasata, right? Which is the cow stem, while perfect, second person, masculine singular. And you can tell by looking at how things are set up. You can look at the suffix here, the ta suffix here, and then you can look at the nekudot at the bottom, and this will help you to understand what we're dealing with as far as the cow stem, which means it's a simple active voice or action. We have the wa perfect, and it's not a conservative wa, but it's a wa perfect, which means we have the way wa conjunction prefixed to the root nasa here. It's in the second person, it's masculine, and it's singular, and it means to lift up, carry off, bear, rise, high, exalt. Okay. And then we get to the next one, which is ha masal, and y'all should know what masal is because this word is actually used as one of the books of the Bible, and we would say that means a proverb. Okay. It's a common noun, it's masculine singular, it's absolute, which means it's the lexical value of the word, which means it's not modified in any possessive aspect or any kind of possessive construct. And it can mean proverb, wisdom, object of scorn, byword, or oracle, right? And I like this word oracle better because of what's being said. Okay, it fits much better. We have ha, definite article, the, ze, which is a pronoun, it's demonstrative, masculine singular, meaning this or these. Okay, such a one. So you're putting emphasis and pointing something out in particular, right? Then we have al melech, right? So al is a preposition meaning on, over, in front of, against, onto, toward. Melech is a common noun. It's masculine singular construct meaning king or ruler. Literally, it means he who rules, right? Or he who reigns. Malak, the root word, which is a verb, which means, to reign. And Melech is he who reigns, okay? Then we have Bab Bel, Bob. So we have the dagesh in the middle of the first bait, which means we're doubling it, Bob Bel, okay? And this is where you start to hear Babel, right? Or Babylon, right? And that's a proper noun, the way that it's rendered there. It's a masculine singular absolute. Again, it's the way that we have it set up here in the absolute form is its original lexical value. But as you can see here, we have the construct form of the word melech. And the reason why it's a construct form because it's a noun that precedes this proper noun. And what it's doing is it's showing a possessive relationship between the two. We have the king of Babel, right? So this is no longer in the absolute form or lexical, that has the lexical value. That's absolute. It is in a construct now because it's a noun that precedes Babel because it is possessive in its nature as it precedes the proper noun that goes after it, okay? And then I translate it, right, as, and you have lifted up. Why? Because it's the cow stem and it's a perfect. And the reason why it's imperfect or it's in a past tense is because when you read the beginning of Isaiah chapter 14, it's giving you a picture of what's going to happen in the future. And then it's saying that now you know, and you will have lifted up this oracle. Once you get into this state in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 1 to 4, then when you come back and you look back on what occurred, you will have lifted up this oracle upon the king of Babylon, right? And that's why I picked the word oracle there. It's not a proverb, right? It's not a byword. It's not wisdom. It's technically an oracle, right? So that's the best rendering for this for me. The way I translate it is, and you have lifted up the oracle, right? Because we have ha masal there. This the oracle upon or towards or on the king of Babylon. And I put the in brackets because the definite article is not there that precedes king of Babylon, even though we can put it in there to better understand it in English, right? So the reason why I translated 14:4a is because I want you guys to see who it's speaking about. Melech Babel, the king of Babylon, is who it's speaking about, okay? Then we get to Isaiah 14:12, where it says, how you have fallen from heaven, O star of the morning, son of the dawn. The New American Standard Bible translation, okay? And then as we break it down, the different parts, we're going to get into ek napalta. So let's get into that first. So ek is an interrogative, which means how or why. So it's interrogative, meaning it's making an inquiry into something and it's bringing attention to that inquiry, and it's saying how something or why. So it's speaking it to the noun that we're going to start to see that actually comes up later on in the actual verse as it's speaking, right? So it's saying ek how napalta. It's a verb. It's in the cow stem, simple active voice. Perfect tense means it's a past action, right? Or past participle. Second person, which is you, right? Masculine singular. To fall, collapse, drop, lie, prostrate. Now, because it's in the cow stem, it's a simple action, which means that we're not going to use anything like collapse. Collapse will be more of the PL stem because it's an intensive action. We're going to say it means to drop, or literally can mean to fall, right? But drop is more light, falls like medium, and then collapse is more intensive. So we're going to stick with either fall or drop, okay? Then we get to the next one, which is me, shamayim. Now, me as a preposition prefix can mean from, part of, by means of, since, out of, away from, or it could mean something apart from something, right? And then we have shamayim, which y'all should be familiar. A lot of people translate this as heavens. I don't translate it as heavens because we have aim, and aim literally is the dual plural, okay? It's in the absolute, and the absolute meaning that it hasn't been tampered in any way. It is the lexical value of the word itself. And it means heaven, sky, sky, waters, atmosphere. That's how it's typically rendered. I wouldn't call it that. What I call it is the double sky waters, right? Or the dual sky waters. And when you read Genesis chapter 1, you'll understand this concept, the canopy of water that's above the area of the cumulus layer of the clouds that also have water, which is the mist that watered the earth before the canopies of water up top broke and the rains came down on the earth. And those would be the dual waters or the double sky waters, okay, that was separated from the rest of the earth and helped the dry land to form and be seen, okay, which actually formed our current atmosphere that we have today, all right? So I would say it's the double sky waters. And again, we know it's the absolute because it hasn't been tampered with, etc. Then we have this famous word here that people are going crazy over, which is Hillel. It is a common noun. It's absolute, right? Which means that as a common noun, this is its lexical value without being tampered or given the possessive construct or any kind of possessive value. It's a masculine and a singular, meaning the shining one, bright star. Okay. Then we have Ben, which is a common noun, absolute, masculine, singular, son, offspring, child. And then we have Sahar, and Sahar meaning dawn, early morning, or daybreak. Again, I wouldn't translate this as morning, right? Because I would use Boker, which would be a better way of rendering that. All right, so let me okay. Hopefully this is better. Let me just, so y'all can see it. Okay. Can you see? So I'm just showing you this again because I wanted to make the font bigger so you guys can see it. I guess some people were complaining that it was too small. Okay, hopefully this works. All right. So let's keep it moving. Hillel, which is shining one, bright star, does not mean Lucifer. Okay. But let's keep moving. Ben Sahar, which literally means dawn or daybreak or early morning. It's not, I would say it's really the essence of dawn. It's similar to Boker, but Boker is the breaking of Layla, the darkness, and the ushering in of the daylight during the twilight hours, right? It's a transitionary period. And Sahar is more descriptive of that, right? It's the dawn period, right? Instead of the breaking of the night into the day, from the Layla to the so okay. So I translated as how you have dropped from the double sky waters, shining one, child of the dawn or early morning, right? That is my translation of it after parsing it out, right? Parsing it out. It's how you have fallen, dropped, and I told you it's in the cow stem, so it's a simple action. It's not in the PL stem where it would be intensive, because otherwise it would say how you have collapsed, because that would be more intensive, from the not heavens, the double sky waters, shining one, child of the dawn, early morning. All right. So I'm showing you this here because that proper name Lucifer does not exist, but I'm gonna show y'all where it came from. Okay, I'm gonna definitely show y'all where it came from. All right. So let me see what y'all saying, and then I'm gonna get back to what I was doing. All right. Okay, so the audio video is doing good. All right, cool. Somebody says it looks blurry. Nothing blurry about it, just too small for our screens. All right, let me know if it was better. Let me know when I zoomed in if it was better when I zoomed in. Hit 1 if it was better when I zoomed in. Shout out to Tanika West. Shout out to Just Looking. Shout out to Dale H. Shout out to Barzalai, Av Shalom Shamar Yah. Shout out to Nisi's Pieces. Shout out to Love Truth. Shout out to Blackest Night. Shout out to Reliable Andrew. Shout out to Z Ephania, Sandra Creary, the Black Av 1, Tina W, The Great Awakening. Shout out to Angel Marie. Shout out to Sam Bone. Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. That's what's up. Thank you guys for supporting, man. All right, so y'all say it was better, right? When I zoomed in, it was better. All right, great. I'm glad y'all can see it. All right. So as we see that Lucifer is not an ontological being, that phrase there is, Hillel is actually meaning a shining one, because the root halal means brilliance or brightness, okay? And that can be attributed to the sun, but it's mostly dealing with the planet Venus, which is the harbinger for the sun, or it could be Sirius star, which is also a harbinger for the sun, because the Sirius star is in the east. Okay, and the reason why this is important, because these stars were known to bring in the dawn, like they would precede the sun. And because the sun is closer to us than this star, this planet, the sun always is going to take the show. It's always going to, its brightness is not, it's going to light up the earth, unlike the brightness from Venus or the brightness from Sirius. Okay. That's why those other lights that are very bright in the sky are called the son of the dawn, because they help to bring in the sun. The sun is the star stopper, and the hype man is the Sirius star or the planet Venus. All right. Sandra Curry says, cannot get this donation thing to work. If you go down, I see Vocab Malone is in the building. That's interesting. If you go down to where the chat is at, and underneath the chat, you see a channel name. It'll say something. Then underneath say something, you'll see a dollar symbol. Click on the dollar symbol, and you'll see a button that comes up that says send a super chat, and it'll be in blue. Click onto that, and then it'll show you the various prompts that you need in order to make the donation. And that's for you or anybody else that wants to donate. And I appreciate that. Shout out to Noodles Mama in the building. Shout out to Tone Rod, Steve Craig. I think I caught everybody. All right. So anyway, so what we're gonna look at next is we're gonna look at the Latin Vulgate. And if you guys want to also check out the Latin Vulgate, you can go to www.latinvulgate.com. All right, and you can actually look at it yourself. I also have some Latin Vulgate manuscripts that we can look at this at and go through it. But I'm going to show you this because it's very evident when you look at this translation. You get to see exactly where it's coming from. Now, remember, you can have a Septuagint translation into the Vulgate, or the Vulgate translation from a Hebrew manuscript, right? Now, also looking into the actual Greek manuscript, which would be the Septuagint, which we would analyze in this case scenario. I just want to show you the Latin Vulgate. Now, for saving some time, I'm just going to show you the Latin Vulgate, and then I'm going to move forward to the Hallelujah thing, saying it means praise Satan, or it means praise Lucifer, zaniness, right? It's crazy. But let me go ahead and show this to y'all real quick. Hold on. Right. So this is Isaiah chapter 14, right? And the Latin Vulgate, latinvulgate.com. And we're going to scroll down to verse 12. We have it where it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, right? Komodo disti de caelo Lucifer ki. So Lucifer right here. Oh, Lucifer, who didst rise in the morning, how art thou falling to the earth? And you see the word taram there, or teram. And we know that terra means earth. And this is where it comes, we get it from the Latin. And then it goes on to say the rest. We have the word gentes there, right? So anyway, we see in the Latin Vulgate, Lucifer. We see it here, right? Lucifer. And this goes over what we see here from the Hebrew Hillel, right? So we see that this has been applied to the actual Hebrew word and has been translated to Lucifer as a proper noun. But when you go back to the Hebrew, which we just went through, you'll see that that the Hebrew does not have that as a proper noun. It's a common noun, and Hillel just means shining one, right? There's no ontological being called Lucifer. It does not exist in the Hebrew. We only have that from the Latin Vulgate manuscripts. All right. All right. So let's move forward. Let's move forward. All right. So so there's a delay. Ah, man, I was dreading for that not to happen. All right, give me a second. Let me see if I can work on that. Hold on. Hopefully it's still working. All right, hit 1 if the audio and video is in sync now. Hit 1 if the audio and video is in sync. I just made a quick adjustment and hopefully this helps. All right, hit 1 and let me know. So I'll wait for y'all to hit 1, let me know. Okay, so we're back in business. All right, cool. All right, shout out to Derek Quay in the building. Shout out to the Most High Child, Shai Arala II. I think I got everybody. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Shout out to Zephaniah, the Great Awakening, etc. Analab Yasharala. All right, so we addressed. We went and we parsed out the Hebrew, and we saw that the word Hallel just means one that shines, right? One who shines. The root word halal means brightness or brilliance, right? Or something that is shining, right? And then now we're going to get into the hallelujah. So now that we know that Lucifer doesn't exist in the Hebrew manuscripts of the Tanakh, it doesn't exist. We see it in the Latin Vulgate. We don't see it in the Hebrew manuscripts. Now we start to go and research things. Now remember, no, I didn't show this to you. Let me go ahead and show it to you real quick. Hold on, because I got this. I might as well show it to y'all. Let me grab this real quick. I should have kept it, but I deleted it. But I could get it. It's in the post anyway. All right. So let me go ahead and show this to y'all real quick. All right. So this is from the Bible Knowledge Commentary, right? John F. Wildwood and Roy B. Zuck, okay? And this deals with Isaiah 14:3-21, a taunt against Babylon, right? The defeat of the tyrant. It says verses 3-21 record a song or a taunt that will be sung by people freed from the fear of the king of Babylon, right? And we read all of this in Isaiah 14, verses 1-3. Then it says the song's overall message that people will be amazed that this great king is cast down like the monarchs of other cities. People rejoice in his demise, for they had lived in fear of him. And remember, this occurs during the Persian period, right? And this is important because during the Persian period, we'll have a situation where we have a different policy by the Persian monarch, where they are allowing people to return back to their lands of origin or repatriate and be able to reestablish their temples and their deities of worship, etc. Right? It says, people will rejoice in his demise, for they had lived in fear of him. Who is this king of Babylon? Many expositors hold the view that he is Satan, the ultimate personification of pride. Tertullian and Gregory the Great were the first to present this view, now widely accepted. I need you to go back and read Tertullian's work and Gregory the Great's work on this subject matter. This is very important to trace the origins of something. Like I said, always looking for the provenance of an idea, a term, a saying, etc. That's important, all right? And it says, though verses 12-14 seem to support the view, little else in the chapter does. Though many hold that verses 12-14 refer to the entrance of sin into the cosmos by Satan's fall, the subject seems a bit forced in this chapter. So the Bible Knowledge Commentary is letting you know that if you are translating that word as Lucifer and talking about some ontological being that's in the heavenly realm and he's been cast down and there's some kind of rebellion in heaven, you are eisegeting the text. That's pretty much what you're doing. You're eisegeting the text. You know, and now we have enough tools and enough manuscripts to go back and fact check this and see that this is simply not true. All right. Lucifer does not exist. He's a figment of your imagination. And because it's in people's imaginations and people subscribe to him presuppositionally, they have made him into an aggregor, a thought form that has now taken on a life of its own. And that now it brings a certain type of unction out of people when they hear that word or that term, etc. And people are, they take the name Lucifer and apply it to the Nachash, or the Nachash that they find in the garden, or the Gan that we see in Bereshit, and say, well, that's Lucifer, and then they take him and they throw him into Ezekiel 28 and say, look, that's him. And they start to talk about this term, the garden of God, right? Gan Elohim, the garden of gods. And that's interesting, or gods with the apostrophe after the S, their garden. Now that's interesting because somebody said to me, hey, look, this Ezekiel 28, now mind you, Ezekiel 28 has nothing to do with Lucifer, nothing to do with him at all, but let's entertain it for a second. And they say, man, when we go to Ezekiel chapter 28, we see where it says that you have been in the garden of gods. Now remember, the word there is Elohim, gods, the garden of gods, right? Or somebody may say God's garden, etc., however you want to say it. And then he said, look, right there, you see the only person that was in the garden of God, or Eden. Remember, Eden is a term for God's garden, not man's garden, God's garden. So when something is attributed to God, and you know, I don't like to use that word too much. I use it colloquially because that's what people identify with. But when you see that word God's garden, it is normally referring to Eden. And we're going to see this in Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 8. Okay. But what I was simply expressing was that, well, that's not true. The king of Tyre actually was in God's garden. People say, what are you talking about? And I say, yes. When you read the Epic of Gilgamesh, you'll start to see this scene that speaks about these cedar trees. Lebanon was well known that it has a forest of cedar trees. Now it's like being protected, but in ancient times, the Egyptians will go there, Mesopotamians will go there. Even we'll see this in the building of the temple, where Solomon will actually go there and get cedar wood from Lebanon, because he had a pact with the king of Tyre. So the king of Tyre, if he was, Tyre is a capital city in Lebanon, then he would have been completely familiar with the garden of God, which would be Tyre. Now, are we saying that Tyre is Eden, or a type of Eden? Yes, Tyre is a type of Eden. And when you read, like I said, the Epic of Gilgamesh and other references, matter of fact, let me read some sources for y'all real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, hold on one second. Let me get this for you. Let me show y'all. All right. So this is from the Ugaritic Baal Cycle, Volume 2, Introduction with Text, Translation, and Commentary, right? KTUCAT. And those are acronyms that's used to denote various tablets, right? By Mark S. Smith and Wayne T. Pittard, right? And this is from Brill Publishing, right? Now, it says the tradition of the Garden of the Gods and its relationship to the mountain home of the gods, as well as its strong connection with fertility, appear to go back at least into the late third millennium. In a study, McCarter has suggested that these themes were early associated with mountain sanctuaries in the Lebanon and anti-Lebanon ranges. One might consider the common motif found in Mesopotamia, Ugaritic, Israelite, and Egyptian texts of bringing cedar wood from this area to use in building a temple as a reflection of the idea of the sanctity, fertility of the Lebanon, anti-Lebanon, which may be transferred elsewhere by the importation of the wood. So family, there was a sanctuary area, right? A particular section that was in the Garden of the Gods that had an Edenic identity. And the king of Tyre, being that he is over the entire province of Lebanon, is the one in control of this Garden of God, or type of Eden. And we're going to see that Assyria was like a cedar in this garden in Ezekiel chapter 31, which is very interesting when we read this analogy, right? And we have another instance here. This book is called by Mark Daniel, called Inheritance, Covenants, Kingdoms, Bodies, and Nations. It says Isaiah likened Sargon II to both Adam and Gilgamesh, because the story of Gilgamesh was a Sumerian version of Adam's failure at attempting to ascend into heaven and become like God. However, there was also another very literal connection to Sargon II and Gilgamesh, and that connection came from Sargon II going to Lebanon to cut down their cedar forest to build idols. Now remember, Sargon is the king of Assyria. That's very important because when you go to Ezekiel chapter 31, we start to see this, right? It goes on and says, while Gilgamesh, well, hold on. And Gilgamesh, the connection, Sargon cut down their cedar forests to build idols, palaces, temples, and cities dedicated to his Assyrian gods. While Gilgamesh mythically cut down the cedars in the God's divine garden, Sargon's kingdom literally felled the cedar timbers of Lebanon. Sargon II's men chopped down the cedars to not only build his kingdom, but to build temples for their gods. Marvin Sweeney, author of Isaiah 1-39, with the introduction to prophetic literature, wrote that Sargon's arrogant boasting is well attested and appears to stand behind the description of the Syrian king in Isaiah 10:5-34. Like many Mesopotamian monarchs, he was known for stripping Lebanon of its trees for lumber to be sent back to his homeland. The use of tree imagery is particularly apt in relation to Sargon in the book of Isaiah, as noted in the discussion of 10:5-34, or chapter 10, verses 5-34. The arrogant Sargon is portrayed as a tree that YHWH is about to cut down. We also see this in Ezekiel chapter 31. The fallen cedars of Mount Saffron were both mythical in the Epic of Gilgamesh and literal in Lebanon, where Sargon II went and chopped them down. That was why Isaiah mentioned the cedars that taunted the king of Babylon once he'd been laid low. Sargon II had chopped the cedar forest of Lebanon down, and God had repaid him in kind by taking an axe to the king's tree. All right. Keep this background information in mind, and will help to bring things into its proper and appropriate perspective. All right. So now that we see this, we see that Ezekiel chapter 28, and I'll read that again. People attribute this to Lucifer, even though the text doesn't say this is Lucifer. This is really interesting, right? These are oracles that are being directed to the king of Babylon and the king of Tyre. So the context tells you who this is going out towards. Okay, it has nothing to do with some kind of sentient adversarial being. It's talking about these kings. And if you recall what I said earlier, as far as the king having an empire and thinking that he is great, he is mighty, and that he has conquered other groups of people that have their own gods. And he's looking at them saying, hey, you have your God or your gods. But guess what? Because I conquered you, I am greater than your gods. Because your God allowed me to rule over you. So I'm greater than your God. So your God is who? YHWH? I'm greater than YHWH. Oh, your God is who? Well, I'm greater than that deity. You know why? Because you're in my empire. You're in my kingdom. And I'm ruling and reigning over you. That's important. So the idea that the king was a god himself and that he is raised above the other gods of the people and nation that he has conquered will start to put things in perspective when you go back and you read Isaiah chapter 14 and Ezekiel chapter 28. This is how pompous these kings were. These kings were very pompous. Okay. So let me move forward. So let's deal with this hallelujah, right? Let's go ahead and deal with hallelujah. Just give me a second. Shout out to Ken Beckford. Who else is in the building? Shout out to Adanya Ha'or. Shout out to Glory Be to the Most High Forever. Shout out to Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Shout out to Aslam Mahdi. Shout out to I think that's everybody. I think I grabbed everybody. All right. So let me see. All right, shout out to Jazz Kinds. Shout out to Ben Zion. All right. So don't forget to hit the thumbs up, family. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, family. All right, so Lucifer does not exist. He only exists in your imagination. He's not an ontological being, all right? So we went ahead and disproved that notion that Lucifer exists. We see that it's not in the Hebrew manuscripts. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull something else out for y'all. Let me pull something else interesting out for y'all. Hold on, give me a second. Let's see. Let's see if I can. There we go. All right, so let me see. Let me see if I can find this real quick for y'all. Hold on, give me a second, family. It's not there. Let me scroll down. Oh, let me scroll up. Scroll down too far. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. All right. So this, I'm gonna show you this in 1 second, but let me scroll down. Let me see if I can find which chapter is this? Chapter 42. We don't want that. Chapter 32. Chapter 21. Chapter 10. Let's go down. Chapter 11. Chapter 12. Chapter 13. And well, okay. Okay. So if we go Ben Shahar and Lynn. All right. Let me go ahead and show this to y'all real quick. Let me pull this out. Okay. So this right here is here it is. All right. This right here is the Isaiah scroll 1Q Isaiah A, right? 1Q Isaiah A. And what this is showing you is it's showing you the Masoretic rendering of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. And it's showing you the Dead Sea Scroll rendering of Isaiah 14, verse 12 in regards to 1Q Isaiah A, because there's several Isaiah scrolls that were found, all right? So in looking at it, we see that there are some differences that's pointed out. We see that a suffix hey appears here. We see a yod. Now, the one thing we're going to look for is the word hallel, right? Which we're going to see here in the Dead Sea Scroll, which we're going to see here in the Masoretic text, right? So as you can see, we have hey, we have the hey, we have the dere, we have the yod, the lamed, zere, lamed, right? Now, the interesting thing is in the Dead Sea Scroll, we have yod infixed here between the hey and the lamed, and yod infixed between the two lameds here. And as we can see here, now this could be what's called a defunctive writing, right? Or defective writing, right? And defective writing pretty much is a shortened form of a word that was originally written with more consonants in it than is actually displayed and let's say a Masoretic text type, right? So for example, here we have Hey, Yod, Lamed, right? That we have here. And here we only have the Hey, the Yod, Lamed, and then another Lamed, right? So what I want to show you here is that the consistency that this word here, Hillel, the word here, Hillel, we see that the difference here, the highlighted difference is the Yod between the Lameds. Everything pretty much reads evenly, with the exception is we see after this Mem here, this Mi Shamayim, right? We have Ha. So we have Mem Ha. So it reads Mem Ha Shamayim. So here is the definite article that's in between the Mem, which means from or out of. We have Ha, meaning the, and then we have Shamayim. We don't have the Hey definite article in between the Mem and the Shin here and the Masoretic rendering. And we see, you know, some of these little differences that we have here. Even here, we have the Hey suffix, and even over here, we have a Hey suffix here. That's here in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and that's not here in the Masoretic text. So what I can do going forward, maybe in a future session with y'all, I can explain what this is that you're looking at. But if you scroll up to the top, you can see that we have a 1Q Isaiah A, and pretty much I have the Dead Sea Scrolls. I have all the transcriptions of the Dead Sea Scrolls. I can go back and check them out for a reference and measure it against the Masoretic text. All right. So let me stop sharing it. But the bottom line is what I'm trying to explain to y'all is, you know, this proper noun Lucifer does not exist in the Hebrew manuscripts of the Tanakh. It's not there. All right. So let me deal with the hallelujah thing. Let me talk about Cotton Mather's real quick, and then I'm gonna try and get up off of here. All right. So let's get to the root word halal. So let's first get to the root word halal. And what I want to do is I want to bring out the word halal for y'all. All right. So just give me a second. All right. Let me see if I can find. There it is. I want to find my lexicon. All right. Let me pull up my lexicon. Okay. Let me zoom this out. Some of this too much. All right. So I'm gonna find my lexicon, and let's go ahead and grab the word that we want. All right, so we're gonna get a couple things in here. Let me get here. All right, and let me plug this into my lexicon.
Ron Shields, right?
What the heck? Whoa, that was
Ron
crazy.
Shields, right?
Okay, I don't know what that's about, but Alexa, you're going to get unplugged. That was crazy. Anyway, wow. That was crazy. Hold on. See, now this just threw me off, man. That was crazy. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, this is what I was looking for. All right. Okay. All right. So this is it's called the Enhanced Brown Driver Briggs Lexicon. All right. So we're gonna look at these two entries here, right? We're gonna look at halal. And then we're going to follow up with the second entry for halal here, but we're also going to look into Hillel right here, right? So halal, right, literally means to shine, according to Ves Al the second, halal, splenduit from sanuit, acute, clear, etc., etc. Then it gives you the Arabic rendering, means begin to shine, new moon, Assyrian Elulu, be bright, elu, bright, etc. It's in the cow stem, right? Then we're going to jump down to, it gives you also the heifer stem, the cow stem. Example is his lamp shone upon my head, or his lights. It could be concerning the heavenly bodies. Job 31:26. Also of a crocodile. Job 41:10. His sneezings flash forth lightning, shining drops of water, being an attribute of the Most High. But then we get here to Hillel, right? It means it's an appellation, it's an appellative term, meaning the shining one, and it's an epithet of the king of Babylon. How art thou falling, shining one, son of dawn, i.e. star of the morning, right? We also have an Assyrian rendering of it, which is Mustilil, which is an epithet of Venus, the morning star. Now remember, the person who made that post, they actually, let's go back. They actually use this entry, right? But they got it probably from online site. This is actually the PDF of the enhanced Brown Driver Brings lexicon, right? I also have the Gesenius's lexicon, and I'll probably pull that up if I can find it, and show the entry in there as well. I also try to cross-reference it with at least 4 different lexicons. The other one that I like is the database of biblical languages. And I like to go into there also and double check that lexicon as well. But now, as you can see here, another entry, the second entry for halal is be boastful or to praise. In Arabic, it can mean to shout, right? Both in joy and in terror. It's a formula of worship. Hold on. All right, hold on. Okay, I'll just do it like this since people can't see anything. All right, let's do it like this. All right, hopefully this is better. All right, so in Arabic, it means to shout, both in joy and in terror. And also it can mean to praise or to make something brilliant, right? And because of something's brilliance, you can boast about the brilliance, like it's a boasting, right? But it depends on, again, what verb stem we're using, okay? But if we go on and we say alalu, shout for joy, rejoice, right? And then we have all these entries. This is a very common word, okay? Now, when we use it in the PL stem, you can get the praise of a man or woman, right? It's giving you, and those praising, shouting acclamations to the king of Absalom's beauty. It can also be in a bad sense, usually praise. It can also be an accusative towards the heathen god. So praise towards the heathen god, giving praise towards the heathen god. It could be about heaven, earth, the seas, and summons to all creatures, often a public worship and sanctuary. In some cases, a public worship, Thanksgiving after harvest, temple worship, also in summons to angels, sun, the moon, all created things, addressed to nations. And the list goes on. Hit Pael stem, which is the reflective stem. I mean, the list goes on and goes on. We got the Poel stem, the Poal stem. It goes on and it goes on and goes on. So the main thing we want to take from this is that the root of this is literally mean to shine. All right, the cow stem verb to shine. Okay, and then we have the noun Hillel, which means he who shines or the one who shines. Okay, and that is the king of Babylon. It's an epithet of the king of Babylon, and it's an epithet that was also used as Venus being called the morning star, because Venus would be the light in the sky that would be the harbinger for the sun. And sometimes it could also be Sirius as well, if you're looking towards the east. All right, we know the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Okay, so pretty much what we're showing is the root word halal literally just means brightness, shining, to shine in the cow stem, right? Hillel means one who shines or he who shines. Okay, that's all it means. Okay, but then it can be used as to be boastful, to praise. How so? Because you're making something brilliant. So when we praise the Most High, right? When we halal, give, our halal towards the Most High, what we're doing is we're making him brilliant. How? By magnifying him in various ways, in poetical form, and the various descriptions we want to give to him, the things we want to say about him. So the praise that we're giving, we're magnifying, we're making him brilliant, we're making him bright, and he then becomes the light of our lives. Okay, and he's the lamp over our head to lead us. Because when we start to read these different places where this is actually rendered, it can literally mean the lamp, his lamp that's shone upon my head. The Most High is the lamp that shines over us to give us guidance in this secular realm of darkness. All right, so that's all we're doing. Now we're going to look at the word hallelujah, and this is important because you're going to have people that's going to say that halal means Lucifer. Praise Lucifer, which is interesting because whenever we see it, and I'll give you an example. Let's pull up a scripture, right, with hallelujah in it. Right. Let me check on y'all real quick. Shout out to Royal 12. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Shout out to Yehuda Ben Israel. Thank you for the donation as well. I truly appreciate it. He said voice recognition tracking you. Man, listen, that was very weird, man. I don't know what's up with Alexa, but ever since that update, she's been doing weird things, and she just shouted my name randomly while I was talking. I've never had that happen before. That is really strange, family. Really strange. Big Brother is definitely watching some way, shape, or form. All right. All right. So I think I got everybody. I don't know who gave the thumbs down. I don't know. I don't know who gave the thumbs down. I really don't know who gave the thumbs down. I mean, I really don't care. It's unfortunate that they would put a thumbs down when I'm only sharing information. But somebody got sensitive. Somebody probably wants to be spooked out by Lucifer, and all of that. So they want to hold to it. Or maybe somebody that teaches this doctrine. They're probably a little bothered or upset by it. And that's fine. That's fine. So right, shout out to Christopher Jewell in the building. And I think I caught everybody that I see in here. Shout out to Love Yaz Coils. And I think that's everybody. All right. All right. So shout out to Ken Beckford in the building. I think I shouted him out already. All right, let's move forward. So we're gonna look up hallelujah, right? It's crazy. Remember, the person said it says praise Lucifer. What? Praise Lucifer. That's what it says. Like, that's, to me, that's really crazy that somebody says it says praise Lucifer, right? So they translate it as praise Lucifer, right? It said they say it's hallelujah, which is crazy because the u at the end is a suffix to hallel, right? It's a suffix to that, and it gives you the second person plural. So the fact that they divided it as H-E-I-L-E-L and then separated it to L-U-J-A-H to mean praise the shining one. Are you saying Luja means praise and the Hillel there means the shining one? That's crazy. Somebody definitely needs to, whoever believes in that, you need to go back and learn the language, because that's truly absurd. It's really, really absurd, right? But let me bring this up for you real quick. We're gonna look at hallelujah actually in one of the scripts, right? All right, and we're gonna break this down. All right. So I want you to go to Psalms Tehillim 135 verse 1. Go to Psalms 135 verse 1. Okay. All right, so when you get it, let me know. All right. So in Psalms 135 verse 1, we have the word hallelujah and Yah. So I'm gonna bring it up here on screen so you can see what it is I'm talking about. I have it on the screen. Let me pull this out. All right. Okay. So here we have Psalm 135, verse 1. Hal, and they say lay. This is the patak underneath. This is the shiva or shewe under shewa underneath. So ha le lu and ya yod kamet hey, right? And the hey has a dagesh in the middle. So it's hal le lu ya. So it's separate. So when somebody says it says lu ja, I'm like, where are you getting that from? There's nothing in the middle of no dagesh in the middle of any of these laments for you to double the consonantal sound, right? Or the phoneme on the consonant, right? So first of all, they're not looking at this in the Hebrew, because first, just looking at the morphology and orthography, I mean, it's obvious that the person is not looking at it in Hebrew, right? So this right here, we know Yah is a shortened form of the name Yod He Wav He. Okay, so it's Yah, and then we have here, we have Hal Le Lu, right? This right here is our indicator for second person plural. Hallelu, and then we have Yah, right? And then we have it again. Hallelu, and this is Et Shem, or the name, right? Praise the name. What name? Yod He Wav He, Yehovah, right? Yek, well, there's no hov there, but it's Yeh. And then people would say this is Yehovah. Typically, you have a holam over it. This doesn't have the holam, but this is our Yod He Wav He. We translate third person masculine singular. We have the imperfect, which is the Yod prefix, the root, which is Hava, which means to exist or to be. And this can also be in the Hitfil form, means he that causes to exist. When we look at the diacritic marks and take it within context, if we're parsing it aside from ascribing it as a proper noun name, right? So we're saying praise, or to make brilliant, make you are made brilliant, Yah. All right. You are made brilliant. What? Your name is made brilliant. So Yah, you are brilliant. Yah, your name at direct object marker, your name is brilliant. And then it says what name is the name that's brilliant? Yod He Wav He. So if somebody is saying that this means praise Satan, this means praise Lucifer, I need them to explain to me, looking at this. This is important, right? Then we have abadi. Then we have this abad here is in the construct form. And then we have Yod He Wav He here. Again, abad or ibed can mean a servant of. And we have the Yod suffix, which is the possessive construct of who? Of Yod He Wav He. So it's telling you, praise, or to make, we're going to make you bright, Yah. And we're going to make your name Yod He Wav He bright. And it says, and all the servants of Yah be praised, right? Or to praise him, right? So the praise is given to Yah, the praise is given to his name, Yod He Wav He, and the praise also towards his servants, Yah's servants. This is important when we're reading the Hebrew language. So when somebody says that this means praise Lucifer, they'd have to show me grammatically, how does this say praise Lucifer? They have to show me the denotative value of the root word halal, and how halal means, because look, this is a verb. This is not a noun here. Okay, this is a verb. You have to be able to understand that. If you don't believe me, that's a verb, because you can even go to parsing here to break it down. It's in the PL imperative. Remember, I tell you, I read the PL entries because it's intensive of making brilliant. We are intensifying how we're doing. This is why it's in the Psalms. This is why we have the exclamation mark here. It's because we're intensifying the praise that we're doing towards Yah. Keep that in mind, family. That's utterly important. We're boasting about this praise that he is. We're exclaiming it. Okay, we're bringing it out, and we're doing it as an imperative. Okay, it's also an imperative as well. We're bringing that out as well. So this is very important. It can also be considered an interjection, right? Interjection and imperative. Second person masculine plural, right? This is when you know the language, you can parse it out, break it down piece by piece. You can translate it. You can play around with it. You know all these elements. So when people make certain claims, it just sounds very odd. Like, wow, how'd they get that? So I'm not here to belittle anybody who has that interpretation. I'm not here to make fun of them or anything. All I want to know is, grammatically speaking, how do you translate that as praise Lucifer? How do you translate that? That will only work for people who don't know the language, and they would agree with that. But once you learn the language, or even if you don't even know the language, just go to like Blue Letter Bible and use the tools on there to dissect it out yourself. And you'll see that, wait, that's not what that says. BlueLetterBible.org, and you can go and do your own research on any verse of the text, and you can break it down yourself. In case somebody's saying something, you need to go back and double check them, all right? Or fact check them, like I said, all right? So again, family, that whole thing is just bizarre. It is very strange. It's bizarre. It's very strange. I will, anybody that holds that doctrine, I would love for them to come back and show me how they get praise Lucifer. They had to show me that Lucifer is an ontological being according to Isaiah 14 by breaking down the Hebrew of the text for me. I don't want you to go into the Latin. Don't go into the Septuagint. Even though I want to bring out the Septuagint so I can show it to you guys, but I want you to show me in the Hebrew how that's the case. We know the Septuagint is a translation of a Hebrew text, all right? And we know the Latin Vulgate is a translation of either the Septuagint, or some of them were translations of the Hebrew text also. So what I want you to do is, I don't want you to go to a second or third source, or the Greek or Latin. I want you to go to the Hebrew and show me from any Hebrew manuscript of the Tanakh that word Hillel there is a proper noun describing an ontological being by the name of Lucifer, and that it instead of the proper rendering of he who shines, or the one who shines, or the shining one. That's all it is. It's an epithet for the king of Babylon, as well as an epithet for the planet Venus and Sirius. Okay, these are other lights that are the harbinger and that ushers in the dawn, or the sun before the sun comes. This is why it's called the son of the dawn. These are smaller lights in perspective to the sun, and it comes before the sun, because the harbinger goes before the king of the army, or the son goes before his father to announce his arrival, to represent his father, and then his father shows up. That's typically what the prince does before the king. So this is like I said, this is really a bizarre doctrine. I mean, I've heard it before, but I wanted to actually bring it out so that way. Shout out to Choo Choo Productions. She said, congratulations on your nomination. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate that. There's a video also on Kingdom Harbinger Ministries right before this one, and that video is a brief clip on my nomination in regards to the Sonetta TV Awards. I was asked by Sonetta to make a promo video, which I did, as well as people on my previous live stream said, they needed instructions on how they can donate. So I put everything in that video. So thank you for everybody that watched that video, that liked that video, that nominated me. I truly appreciate it, family. Thank you so much. All right. So now people would say, and I'm glad one of my brothers in the building. Now, this doctrine is taught amongst GOCC, and I'm not here to do any dirt on Elder Rakar. I'm not here to do any dirt on anybody in GOCC, because I got a lot of associates and friends in GOCC, right? But we have disagreements, and we're fair and open about our disagreements, and we're very amicable in discussing our differences. But I mostly try to hone in on our similarities first. But I know that there's individuals from GOC that teaches this, because the sister that sent me the post said the brother is from GOCC, and this is what he was teaching. And the reason why I broke it down this way is because she asked me, she gave a request, and I said, okay, I'll deal with it. Now, some people also say that Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, or Yah, is not the proper name of the Most High. That is Ahaya, right? Again, when you learn the Hebrew, the Aleph prefix means something. The root Hawa or Hava actually means something as well. And when you look at the Eye, Asher Eye, as opposed to Ahaya, Asha, Ahaya. When you look at it grammatically, you're able to parse everything out and look at the root, look at the prefix, look at the nikudot, and look at the syntax of all three when they place together to see what it means. And typically it is a title name. It is not a proper name. It is a title name, okay? You don't have upper and lowercase in Hebrew. You only see that in English translations, okay? But then as we continue to read in Exodus chapter 3, we see the name YHWH also represented there as well. Now, some people say, hey, the Masoretes came and they wrote it in, or the scribes, they wrote in this pagan deity name YHWH or Yah. They wrote it in the text. It should not be there, right? But then they would have to account for various manuscripts. You have to account for the Samaritan Pentateuch. You have to account for the Nash Papyrus. You have to account for the Dead Sea Scrolls. You have to account for the some Septuagints and Pentateuch. Some Pentateuchs had YHWH in it as well. So you have to account for several of these manuscripts that actually have that written in there. The Isaiah scroll from the Dead Sea Scrolls. How did these Masoretes, who didn't come about until 900 AD, write this in manuscripts? Write this YHWH in manuscripts that predate them almost 1,000 years or over 1,000 years. How were they able to do this? And somebody would have to actually explain how that was done. And why did they keep Ahaya in there? If that is the proper name, if they know that they're deceiving people, they're going to still leave Ahaya in there and then just put YHWH everywhere else. You know, I would like somebody just to answer those questions for me, honestly and sincerely. And this is what I pose to my brothers in GOC team. We go back and forth. We have fun discussing our differences, but they equate YHWH to a Canaanite deity and say we should not give any praises to YHWH because he's a Canaanite deity, right? Which is very interesting. Archaeologically speaking, somebody who subscribes to Ahaya would have to show me where Ahaya is in any artifact, because we have artifacts with the Hebrew language, right? In Israel during the Iron Age period before the collapse of the Southern Kingdom. And we see YHWH all throughout in the El Torah letters and the Lachish letters and the Tel Arad letters. So the Tel Arad letters and the Lachish letters were written on Astrakhan, which is pottery shards, and is written on the inside of the pottery shard, which is the rough part, because the outside is the smooth part and the rough part is better for holding the ink, right, that you use to write on. And they would use this as a secondary use, these pottery shards, and then they would make letters out of these pottery shards. And we see these letters, and we have these letters, and we've read these letters, and I've went through them, and we see YHWH all throughout it. Sometimes we see Yahoo in there as well, as opposed to YHWH as YHWH. We don't see Ahaya anywhere, right? When we go to Kuntilat Adru, which is another site that has YHWH there in some of the inscriptions, we don't see Ahaya there. So we don't have Ahaya in any of the archaeological records. When we go to the Moabite stone or the Moabite stela, Mishe stela, we have YHWH there as well. We don't have Ahaya there, right? So the question is, at what point did the name Ahaya get supplanted? I would need to look at a chronological timeline, and somebody can show me at what point it was supplanted, who supplanted it, who replaced it, you know, what archaeological artifacts that we have to verify that. Justification in the text itself, Ahaya there, when we look how it's rendered, it's never rendered as a proper name. It is a noun with the first person Aleph prefix to it, right? Which is the I am, which means that, you know, it's I am that I am, because the root word hava, meaning to exist or to be, people say it means to be. So it's not, even the way it's formed is not a proper noun. So it's not a proper noun. It's pretty much a verb that has an aleph prefix. So we'd have to go through the language, and you'd have to explain to me whether from the nikudot, whether from the prefix that's to haya, what they say is haya, or eye, which would say eye. They'd have to explain these things to me to give me some clarity. And they would have to know the Hebrew to be able to break it down, and they'd have to know archaeology to be able to showcase to me in the archaeological record. And we can have a great discussion on this. But long story short, Lucifer does not exist. Lucifer is not an ontological being that is everywhere in the text. He was not in the garden. He was not in Ezekiel chapter 28. He was not at the right hand in Zechariah chapter 3 that was accusing the high priest Joshua. He is not the one that tempted Yahusha. I mean, people just gone wild with this guy, Lucifer, right? But go back and do your research. Look at Tertullian's writings on it, Gregory the Great's writings on it to see the origin or provenance of this idea. Also look at the Middle Ages and medieval period on the development of this character called Lucifer, which then became an egregore, and people started to worship this deity, and we started to find it amongst the elites because the idea of Lucifer having brightness or being bright, knowledge can make you bright. So those who are illuminated, they have this concept of Luciferianism because the objective is to be a light bearer. How do you bear light? By having esoteric knowledge that the unlearned don't have. And this rises you above them. So they've adopted this concept and they've integrated into speculative and operative Freemasonry. You feel what I'm saying? But again, it has no root in the Hebrew manuscripts of the Tanakh. I showed you the Dead Sea Scrolls, I showed you the Masoretic text, and they agree with the exception of defective writing in the Masoretic text. And we have the Hey, Yod, Lamed written out with no Nikudot in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So the differences there is we have a defective writing in the Masoretic text, but they pretty much agree. And we can pretty much take from this that Lucifer is not an ontological being and he should not be feared as such. We no longer have to be spooked out over this and we can move forward. All right. And I'm done with that. So let's progress forward with this session. Let me bring this final thing out and then I'm going to see what y'all saying. And I'm going to close out. All right. So if you're enjoying and if you're enjoying this, definitely hit 1. Shout out to Terrence McWilliams in the building. Yes, I agree. And the unfortunate thing is when our beloved Elder Ricard was having a debate with James White, he brought up Ba'ali, which is interesting because he took hold that let me go into that real quick too. And this again, this is not to throw any dirt or to shame GOCC in any way. This is just for clarification for people that's in the chat that is mentioning these things, right? But let's get this Ba'ali thing in here, right? Let's look this up. And this is why this is why context is important, okay? All right, so we're gonna go into Hosea chapter 2. All right, and I'm gonna read Hosea chapter 2 for you guys. And again, once you understand this, the context, then you know what's going on. Hosea chapter 2, I'm gonna read it from New American Standard Bible, and we're gonna go into the language a little bit, all right? So it says, say to your brothers, Ami, and to your sisters, Ruhama, contend with your mother, contend, for she is not my wife, and I'm not her husband. Keep that in mind. And let her put away her harlotry from her face and her adultery from between her breasts, or I will strip her naked and expose her as on the day when she was born. I will also make her like a wilderness, make her like desert land, and slay her with thirst. Also, I have no compassion on her children because they are children of harlotry. For their mother has played the harlot, she who conceived them has acted shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers, who give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up her way with thorns, and I will build a wall against her so she cannot find her path. She will pursue her lovers, but she will not overtake them. She will seek them, but will not find them. Then she will say, I will go back to my first husband, for it was better for me then than now. For she does not know that it was I who gave her the grain, the new wine, the oil, and lavished on her silver and gold, which they used for Baal. Therefore, I will take back my grain at harvest time and my new wine in its season. I will also take away my wool and my flax, given to cover her nakedness. And I will uncover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and no one will rescue her out of my hand. I will also put an end to all of her gaiety, her feasts, her new moons, her Sabbath, and all of her festal assemblies. I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, of which she said, these are my grapes, which my lovers have given me, and I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field will devour them. I will punish her for the days of the Baals, when she used to offer sacrifices to them and adorn herself with her earrings and jewelry and follow her lovers so that she forgets me, declares YHWH. Now, this is extremely important to get the background context of what's going on. Pretty much what's going on is that Israel, the northern tribe, was the wife or the bride of YHWH. He had covenant with them, he surnamed them, etc. But what they started to do was they started to go whoring after other nations and other deities, such as Baal, right? So what he says is that when she sees that she's getting whooped and she's not getting everything that she needs to get, pretty much the side dude that she's rolling with, mind you, the side dude can't be a husband if she's already married, okay? So she's over here doing everything she doing with the side dude, and guess what? The side dude starts beating on her, right? Or the side dude stops showering her with things or stops doing things with her. And she's like, man, you know what? I'm messed up in the game. Let me just go back to my husband. But her husband has knowledge of what happened. So he says, hey, before I take you back, I'm going to shame you in front of your lovers, right? And I almost want to share something that I saw on Facebook, but I'm not going to do that, right? But let's keep moving, right? So pretty much he says, I'm going to take everything away from you that I've given you so you could be naked before your own lovers and you could be shamed for what you did, okay? But now let's go into this. This is important. Now, verse 14 says, therefore, behold, I will allure her, bring her into the wilderness and speak kindly to her. So now, once she comes back to him, he shames her before her lovers. So the lovers is like, wow, you know what? I don't want to deal with her no more. She's married. What? I'm not going to deal with her no more. Look at the state that she's in right now. Once he shames her and she accepts her shame, because there's nothing that she can do about it. Nobody can rescue her from being shamed because she decided to return back to her husband. Husband is reclaiming his wife, right? Now he says, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to court her again because she has forgotten me. She doesn't yada. She has not known me. So I'm going to court her again so she may know me again. Okay, so we can then come back into covenant again and I can forgive her for trespasses, right? So it says, therefore, behold, I will allure her, bring her into the wilderness and speak kindly to her. Then I will give her vineyards from there and the valley of Achor as a door of hope. And she will sing there as in the days of her youth and in the day when she came up from the land of Egypt. It will come about in that day, declares YHWH, that you will call me Ishi and will no longer call me Baali. Now, why is this the case? Because now we have a covenantal marriage relationship that is being restored. Prior to this restoration, prior to the shaming that went on with this bride or this wife, she was going after Baal, right? So all she knew of a deity was Baal. And he says, when I take her into the wilderness so I can court her again, so she gets to know me intimately again, she would no longer call me the name Baal, and what she called her lovers who abandoned her, right? Who abused her, right? But now she's going to get to know me, call me Ishi. She's going to say, this is my man. This is what it means, or my husband. Now we're going to get back into rightful relationship where now we get to know each other again. Okay, this is what the text is saying. So anybody that says anything different than this is eisegeting the text. The text is not saying that YHWH name is called Baali. Because if they say his name is Baal, right, or my Baal, because that's literally what it means, or my master, you're not going to say my master anymore. You're going to say my husband. There's a difference. The husband can be considered a master, but not in the same sense as a Baal lord or master. This is two different types of relationships, right? But he says it will come about in that day, declares YHWH, that you will call me Ishi. So are you saying that the Most High's name is Ishi? That's the name that Israel is going to call him in that time? No, you're going to call me my husband as opposed to my Lord or my master, because I'm going to change the relationship because I'm courting you again. I'm getting intimate with you again. You're getting to know me again. And it says, in that day, I will also make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, the birds of the sky. So the husband is now renewing his vows to the unfaithful wife that he has courted again once he has shamed her and stripped her. And now after he finished courting her and she gets that love again for him, now he's restoring her and giving her the things back that he took from her. It says, and I will abolish the bow, the sword, and the war from the land, and I will make them lie down in safety. I will betroth you to me forever. Betroth you to me forever. Yes, I will betroth you to me in righteousness and in justice and loving kindness and in compassion, and I will betroth you to me in faithfulness. Then you will know YHWH. So his name can't be Ishi, right? Because he's saying that once that courting process is over and I betroth you again, you will know YHWH. It will come about in that day that I will respond, declares YHWH. I will respond to the heavens, and they will respond to the earth, and the earth will respond to the grain and the new wine and to the oil, and they respond to Jezreel. I will sow her for myself in the land. I will also have compassion on her who have not obtained compassion. And I will say to those who are not my people, you are my people. And they will say, you are my power. It's a love relationship. It is a marriage that has gone awry, where the wife has cheated on the husband and went after other lovers because they were offering other things to make it seem like they were better than the husband. But then after she's been with the lover for so long and the husband was aware of it, he allowed it to be that way because he knew in time she will have to come back, because that lover who is not officially her husband is going to abuse her, is going to stop courting her and stop giving her gifts and stop showing her attention, because you know, he doesn't care, especially if you know she's a married woman. He's just out to play around. He doesn't care for her or her well-being or her children. And Yah forbid if children are created. And now, mind you, the Most High says here that that unfaithful wife gave birth to children, and those children she gave birth to, it was done during harlotry, where she was cheating on her husband. So therefore, those children become bastardized. And the only way now, because once that woman is shamed, those children are shamed along with that woman. So she brings the shame onto the children as well that she had out of wedlock. But now he says, look, I'm going to take this woman back. I'm going to court her, betroth her again. And in doing so, even those children that she had out of wedlock, I'm going to bring them unto myself. Why? Because the forefathers who made the covenant, they went and broke those promises and that covenant. And in breaking those promises and covenant, the children that they had did not know the Most High, but they were still his. They were still his, right? Through covenant, they were still his. And he says, listen, I'm going to let these nations just beat the hell out of them and do them dirty. And then eventually when they wake up, when they realize that, man, I've been hoodwinked, I've been bamboozled, let me return back to my first love. Let me go back to where I made my first covenant with. And before that can happen, he must shame them. This is why the children of Israel today are in the state that they're in, because they had to be ashamed because their forefathers forgot the covenant. But once they wake up, now they can get back into right relationship with Yah. And people say all the time, oh, we under the curse, we're under the curses. I'm like, no, you're under the curses. As a nation, there may be some sense of a curse, but once you turn back to Yah, you are entitled to blessings. How do you just step over Deuteronomy 28, 1-15 and just jump right into the curses, but never restore anybody back to the blessings, based on various parts of the text that tell us that once we come into a right relationship with Yah, even individually or as a small remnant collective, we can still reap the benefits while in captivity and await the Most High while we have breathing room, so that we have a quality of life until our final redemption. All right. So again, we have to look at context. We have to understand the language. And once we do these things will start to make sense. And when we hear things that seem strange, we can definitely address it. All right. And hopefully that helps. All right. Hopefully that helps. I don't know if it helps. Shout out to True Productions. Thank you so much, sis, for the donation. I appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying what you're hearing, hit 1. If you enjoy what you're hearing, hit 1. Yes. Baal can also mean husband. Yes. But in the context of Hosea, Hosea chapter 2, it does not mean husband. Okay. In the context of Hosea chapter 2, it does not mean husband. Why? Because we have the previous verses to Baali talking about she has went after other Baals. Okay. So in her mind, she equates a deity as Baal, but once Yah removes her out of the secular realm that is tainting her and courts her again in the wilderness where she is by herself, Now he can restore the relationship where she will say, this is my husband now, as opposed to just my Lord or my master. Okay. Shout out to Hebrew Sister in the building. Shout out to Miss Corp 41. Shout out to Roderick Crawford. Shout out to Yehuda Ben Yisrael. Shout out to Aunt Lee. Shout out to Toy Danielle, Yisrael. Shout out to Jacob James. Shout out to Christopher Jewel. I think that's everybody. I think I got everybody. Hey, the Most High Child, Shaya Rala, the second. We also got to check our motive behind our intentions, right? So when people bring this up to me, again, my intention is not to shame them, not to belittle them, not to condescend on them, not to disrespect them, throw ad hominems. I just want to get to the root of the teaching and say, hey, can you demonstrate what it is that you're teaching? And once they demonstrate it, I can cross-examine it, and we can just have a dialogue and see if we can meet on equal ground. And if we don't, and if there's disagreement, respect each other's differences. But anytime we come back together, let's focus on the numerator, or excuse me, on the denominator, on the things that actually we do agree on. And that's how we should start rapports with people. When we start a rapport with people based on our similarities and the things we agree on, then we won't take such a hit when it comes to the differences, okay? Because we can respect each other and we can build amicably, okay? So family, don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you like what you're hearing. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I wanted to go further into the other post that I did on Facebook, but it's getting late. So I'm going to look at some of the questions y'all have there to see if I can address it real quick. I'm going to, well, my question for Reliable Andrew in regards to Lucifer, and I want you to go back into the Latin Vulgate, and I want you to parse out that word Lucifer and let me know if it's a feminine or if it's a masculine noun or neuter. Let me know if it's feminine, neuter, or masculine. All right. You can go back and do it yourself because that is the source of that name. So go back to the Latin Vulgate, any Latin Vulgate manuscript you want to pull, or you can do a textual analysis of several of those manuscripts and do a survey of several of those manuscripts and actually let me know if you know, that worked. I know the answer. I just want you to go back and research it yourself and see if Lucifer is feminine, neuter, or masculine. All right. Baal can mean master. It can mean Lord, or it could be an idol, or it could be the ontological being Baal. Okay. So it could be various things. It depends on the context. Context is very, very important. All right. Love Yaz Koyo says, what is a mamzer? A mamzer is a bastard child that was conceived via adultery. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question there. All right. So let's let me see. I will hit you and enlighten you. All right. TMHCTV. That's an oct of mine right there. And I know that he hosts a lot of GOCC teachings. He says he's gonna hit me up. So yeah, hit me up. Let's build on that, Ak. No problem. No problem. So glory be to the Most High forever. Very, very interesting name. Question, brother, are you saying hell doesn't exist? All right. So glory be to the Most High forever. Did you see, man, there's almost 100 people in here. Share this link if you want. Let's get more people in here before I go. Let's try to get 100 people in here. You know, I see that you guys really enjoy this information. That's good. But to glory be to the Most High forever. My question to you is, did you see my lecture that's called Through the Valleys and Onto the Mountains? All right. Through the valleys and onto the mountains. Glory be to the Most High forever. Hit 1 if you saw that lecture. Okay. Hit 1 if you saw that lecture. Now remember, y'all, I talk about the Elohim, or the divine council, or the heavenly court, however you want to render it. And there's 70 to 72 entities that are part of that court. And they all have other lesser deities that work for them. Okay. Aunt Lee, I think is one of my live streams about fasting. Okay, so glory be to the Most High. Yah said no, she didn't see my lecture. So one of my admins, if you can post that video into the link into there for the sister. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Because I actually go into the hell thing there. So I'm going to save time on speaking on it and just give you the link to the lecture so you can check it out yourself. Here it is. All right, I'll post it in there. I'll post it in there. All right, that's the link right there, sis. So glory be to the Most High forever. Click on that link. Let me see if I could find the time marker where I spoke on it at. Oh, it's right here. Just started up for me at the time marker. All right, here we go. Let me show this to y'all real quick.
What? Sin, destruction, and desolation. So sometimes we may be in a valley of sin, destruction, and desolation because we fail to yield to the voice of God. That's the case on point. What? Hell. Okay. Let's see what hell is. Somebody said up. Let's see what hell is, right? I think too many people have misconceptions on what hell is, right? Let's go. We're gonna clear that up today. We're gonna make it brief. We ain't gonna take them too long, Frank. As you would say, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all ready? I know some people are asking me this question. Let's get in. All right. Frank. There's hell right there, Frank. Can you read that to me? Hold on, Frank. Frank, when I go to Israel, Frank, I'm gonna go right to hell, Frank. Listen, oh my God, what are we talking about? Frank, I'm gonna go straight to hell, Frank. I'm gonna show you what hell looks like, Frank, today. But keep reading, Frank. What is that? What's that word here, Frank? Hold on. Keep reading, Frank. It means lamentation. What? Lamentation. What? Lamentation. Keep reading. Exactly. A what? A bad what? Yeah. Keep going. A narrow ravine. With steep, rocky sides located southwest of Jerusalem. Okay. Separated Mount Zion to the north from the hill of evil count. And the sloping, rocky plateau of the plain of Rephaim to the south. Rephaim. So right there is how, family. Now look at this. Look at this. A prophecy went out, right? And because Israel was doing what? Burning their children, making child sacrifice at the valley of what? Ben Hinnom. Then I speak the truth, Frank. We'll spend some time here.
All right, family, you about to see hell right now. See hell? Look at that. Look at hell right there.
Beautiful grass and trees right out of the old city, which is up here. This is Mount Zion, where the tomb of King David and the room of the Last Supper are. And this beautiful valley has a pretty notorious name. It is called Gay Ben Hinnom, the Valley of Hell. Why is it so? In biblical times, there used to be a pagan ceremony that would take place down here, in which a deity called the Molech would be worshipped. And during the ceremony that would take place, they would take a statue of that deity, so metal, put it on a fire until it would become burning red hot, and then different offerings would be made to the statue. And the final best offering would be a baby child that would be put on the burning red hot arms until he would die from the heat. Terrible ceremony, and because of that, the Jewish prophets that went against it decided to call this.
And also, family, as you can see while he's talking, there's not a lot of people in hell. That was a joke.
Valley gave Ben Hinnom, the valley of hell, Gehennom, and from there came the word Gehennom, hell, the valley of hell. There are many stories about still ghosts that are hunting this place during the nights, and some people believe that it's empty in such a beautiful day because people are still terrified from the spirits who are wandering around this area. maybe yes, maybe not. You're welcome to come and try it for yourself. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
A desolation, an object of hissing, and it will hiss because of all of his what? Plagues. Keep this in mind. And it says, then Jeremiah went to Torah where Yah had sent him to prophesy, and he stood in the court of Yah's house and said to all the people, thus Yah from the elements of.
All right. So, y'all can go back and check out that lecture, right? So you can go back and check out that lecture, and you'll see me go further into the subject of hell. All right, I put the link in the chat. All right. Yeah, Bronson Phoenix. I'm still on target to do a lecture on the Sabbath as well, because I know a lot of people have been asking me that ever since 2016. I did the lecture on the metalogical model, the ancient pre-exilic Israelite metalogical model. Okay, where I actually show you the rendering of, or the reckoning of time by the Israelites during the pre-exilic period. Man, you're asking a lot of questions. Yo, I'm surprised. Do y'all realize that we're an hour ahead? It's 5:47 a.m. So in case y'all don't know that, I guess y'all not trying to go to sleep. Y'all really enjoying this. I'm very grateful to have all of y'all in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying attention to as much as I can. There's a lot of stuff that y'all saying in here. But to the sister, glory be to the Most High forever. That hopefully you got the link, sis. If not, just scroll up and click on it. I put it in there. You can check it out. All right. Oh yeah, me too, Toy Daniel. She's talking about Frank reading. Frank is my reader. Oh, this Sabbath, I'm going to be teaching again. I don't know what subject matter I'm going to teach. If y'all have any suggestions, y'all can email me at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. I don't have any ideas at the moment for what I'm going to do a lesson on. But if you want me to do a lesson on something this Sabbath, I'm going to be teaching. Just email me a subject or something like that, and I'll look into it. And if it inspires me, I'll go do a full-fledged lesson on that. All right. So stay tuned. That video should be up either Saturday night or Sunday before the weekend is over. Next weekend I'll have it up. You funny, man. Y'all crazy. So those of you on the West, y'all chilling right now. Those of us on the East, man, it's 5:48 a.m. We lost a whole hour, man. Shout out to It's Georgie. I think I got everybody else. Shout out to Lord Absolute. Peace out there. So anyway, family, remember, Lucifer is really doesn't exist. All right, so let's since a lot of y'all still up in here, make sure you keep it at 100 people in here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if y'all like what you see. Make sure all of you that's in here, I need all of y'all subscribe to Kingdom Harbinger Ministries. Hit that bell notification because we can go live at any time. Those of you who are no strangers to this channel, y'all know that a lot of times when we go live, it's typically late at night. But we're working on adjusting that soon. But we night owls, you know, and that's how we do it, you know what I'm saying, to the early morning, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad y'all still up with me. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So since y'all are still up in here, I don't want to just end off right now abruptly. Let me bring up this last thing, the Cotton Mathers thing that I wanted to share. Let me bring this up for y'all, and then I'm out of here, all right? Terrence McWilliams says, how do you pronounce Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, or what is the correct biblical Hebrew way to say the name? Some people say it's Yahweh, right? Some people says it's Yehovah, right? And again, a lot of this is contingent upon the diacritic marks that preserve the phonology or the phonetics of the actual pronunciation of the name. Some people says Yahuwah, some people says Yahweh. I like to say Yah, because Yah is consistent. We see it in the Tehillim or the Psalms, and we know a lot of the Psalms writings are very, very early, and a lot of it is pre-exilic. So I like to just simply say Yah. We have Yah in Yahweh. We have Yah in Yahuwah. We have Yah in Yahweh. We have Yah in Yahovah. We have Yah in Ahaya. So Yah is in all of these pronunciations, right? So Yah or Yahu would be the best way to render it. And I say Yahu as well because we see Yod He Wav in a lot of pre-exilic artifacts, right? Because I mentioned to y'all about the Telluride letters. I mentioned to y'all about the Lachish letters and other inscriptions where it says it only has Yod He Wav. Also, if you go to the Soleb Teb in ancient Egypt or Kemet, you'll see the Shashu of Yod He Wav is there. So Yod He Wav again is a shortened form. Some people say it's a topogram, toponym. Some people says it's an actual personal name of a deity. Some people say it can be a place or a group of people, etc. But it still preserves Yod He Wav there. And we also see that Yahu, where the Wav suffix is actually has the U sound. And we have that also in like Yeshayahu and other names as well. So Yah by itself is just covers everything. And again, as I read for you in Tehillim 135, verse 135, verse 1, we see Hallelu and Yah is there, but then also jumps on Yod He Wav later on in that verse. But if you go to Psalm chapter 68 and verse 4, come on, y'all, let me get into the slavery thing, man. If you go to Psalm 68 and 4, it says, sing unto Elohim, sing praises to his name, extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name Yah, and rejoice before him. Psalm 68 and 4, it says his name is also Yah. And we know Yah, it covers a multitude of pronunciations, okay? So the best name to call the Most High that's validated by the text, so you don't have to worry about pronunciation, would be simply Yah, okay? And that's something that's the common denominator between all these pronunciations, all right? And I like to find common ground if possible, all right? Okay. All right. So anyway, so now, Ish Jordy says, do you think Jesus is coming back? How do you expect it? I don't subscribe to Jesus, right? So, I mean, I don't know how he's coming back. He's already here, right? But as far as the Davidic king or the branch that is mentioned in the Tanakh, that is to return as the Zedek Melech, the righteous king to redeem Israel. That individual is definitely going to come about in some way, shape, or form in which he's going to redeem the children of Israel. Okay, now people are split depending upon their views on that. My position is that when Yahusha ben Yosef or Yahusha Hanatzori was on the planet and he was preaching this apocalyptic message to his people, what he was conveying to them is that there would be times where the Son of Man will be applied to himself, and there'd be times where he'd be talking in the third person about a Son of Man coming back. Now, when you look at the context, whenever he talks about the Son of Man coming back, he usually doesn't attribute that to himself, meaning that he's speaking about this Davidic king coming back, right? Now, it could be him in another form returning. It could be David. It could be a ruler that's coming from up out of the ground, somebody that's born in the earth. Whatever the case may be, there is going to be a branch or Davidic king that's returning, and he's going to redeem Israel. All you need to do, Israel, is keep Torah, right? Keep the mitzvot, and in keeping the mitzvot, restoring culture, establishing a community, and implementing autonomy, you will be the set-apart remnant that when the Most High returns with this Davidic king, he will see that you are set apart, and he will receive you unto himself, and therein everything will be ushered into eternity. So regardless of who's coming back, the objective is, what instructions do we have in the interim? Kingdom Harvard Ministries, our job is to restore the culture of the lost sheep of Israel, to awaken them back to Torah, and so that they can create a tangible community that then is autonomous. So that way we can patronize each other, and we can handle our own internal affairs, and we don't have to go outside of ourselves to compromise to get these things taken care of. So that way we'll be without spot, without blemish, because we will not be integrated into society the way society has it integrated. We'll be aggregationalists, which means that we go into society to do the work that we got to do, and then take those resources and time back, go back and patronize community and build up our own autonomous community. And I give a blueprint on how to do that on this channel. All right, for those of you who are watching. All right. So fear Yah, keep his commandments. And as you continue to do that, and you continue to build, whoever this Davidic Messiah that comes back, he will recognize and identify you by keeping the mitzvot. And not only keeping the mitzvot, that you're actually showing ahab or love towards your fellow brother and your fellow sister, and treating them as you would treat yourself. This is very, very important. All right. And the pertinence of it hinges upon how we live out this mitzvot and our captivity, because now it becomes a cultural mandate. And that's what it is. It's an ethnic marker in which the secular nations or the secular goyim identifies whose we are by how we carry ourselves. We are the beacon of light to them. And that light is the law of the Most High, his word. Keep those things in you so that you may not sin against them. You may not trespass against them and go whoring after the things of the world. Keep yourself pure and keep yourself unblemished from integrating into this world, and keep unto yourselves. Remember, I told you in my lecture, Are All Sins Created Equal, about what the sin is unto death and a sin that's not unto death. The sin that's unto death is the capital offenses. The sin that is not unto death is everything in the mitzvot that's outside the sins unto death. So if you break something as charging your brother, your sister, usury or interest, okay, that is not a capital offense. All right. If you are unclean, that is not a capital offense. Okay. These are things that are going to occur, that people are going to do. And not that we're striving to do it, but these are things that we're going to fall short in those areas. But those who have the seed of Yah in them, they will not commit the capital offenses, such as committing murder. All right. Such as committing perjury. All right. Such as committing adultery. These things you would abstain from because you have the seed of Yah in you. Anything outside of those capital offenses, if you break them, you can be restored from them. But the capital offenses, typically when somebody commits it, they become habitual in doing so. Their mind becomes seared and it becomes a lifestyle or a behavior. All right. And those are the things that we got to watch out for. Okay. This is very important. But Yah in his mercy, if we committed those things in our past, before we had the knowledge of the truth, and coming into the knowledge of truth, he has washed and cleansed us, and he has restored us back unto himself. And we have knowledge of these things. We will no longer continue in that path, and he will receive us unto himself. Understand that the lecture is called Are All Sins Created Equal? Are All Sins Created Equal? Go back and check that out. All right. So now to Lord Absolute, that's what we're doing now. We're not, okay. I think people are misconstruing that. Even though we have a revelation that the Most High will restore us back unto himself in a perfect state of harmony and peace, okay, where we'll be in his kingdom, we're not sitting here and waiting for anything. We're putting boots to the ground and we putting in this work. So Lord Absolute, and this is just for you, my brother, if you're not familiar with Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, go back on my channel. There's various lectures you can check out. I have one that's called Globalizing Black Power. Check that one out. I also have the one about implementing autonomy in the Black community. Go back and check both those videos out. There's another one that's called Domestic Reparations or Motherland Repatriation. Go back and check that one out. I have another one that's called that's called Economic Subversion to Autonomous Conversion. Go back and check that out. And if you don't remember these things, I have a playlist that you can click on that talks about autonomy or solutions. And it's a playlist you can go and it has all these videos in it and you can check it out. That's the stuff we're doing in the interim. We're not sitting here waiting on somebody to come and save us. All right. We're putting boots on the ground with our concrete faith, and we're making things happen within our community. And if you want to get any insight on how I take care of that, go back and check out those videos. All right. And yes, I agree even with the sister Lita for Christ, that we need the Ruach. The Ruach sets us apart, and that goes to show the seed of Yah is in us. So we do need the Ruach. And in doing so, it will renew us. So that way we don't have the mindset to commit these capital offenses as we're building in the interim, as we're waiting for the Most High to redeem us out of this captivity. And in the interim, again, we're not letting no curses affect and inflict the progress that we can make as a collective group of people here in this nation, in captivity, or anywhere else we're in the world, in our diaspora, that this message will continue to go out. And again, Kingdom Harvest Ministries is about restoring culture, restoring culture, establishing a community, and implementing autonomy. And these three fundamental points, is part of the harbinger element of us letting our community know, hey, look, these things are about to happen. So that we can be preserved in the process, we must restore culture, we must create a community, and we must implement autonomy. All right. So the shepherd said, Divine, who is the Most High speaking to when he says, let us create man? That is the council that is speaking. So the Most High, as the one presiding over the council, right, in which he created those beings, his throne cannot be usurped. And he is the creator, and he is the supreme entity over this council. He's speaking that way because there's an entity that's there, right? Plural entities that are there. And we see this all throughout the text. All right. We was going over, me and my family was going over a Shabbat lesson today, and we was looking in the origins of the Ark of the Covenant, the significance of the Ark of the Covenant. And what we read in Deuteronomy, before Moshe passed away, he was actually reminding the children of Israel what occurred. And it was saying that when the Most High came to him, he came with thousands of his holy ones, and that he wrote the testimony in those tablets and provided it and placed it in the mercy seat as the foundation, along with the manna to show that the Most High is there to sustain Israel, and the Aaron's rod, which is there to represent protection and a priesthood, and the 2 tablets of stone is representing the fundamental laws in which everything else is founded on. And then the mercy seat itself is where his glory would sit upon, and where he would commune as an oracle with Moshe in order to give him insight on certain things. And then we have the casting of lots that would occur with the high priest, right? I want to show you some other things too. I have a video that I'm going to put out soon, where y'all will see me pouring out a libation of wine and oil on a stone memorial dedicated to Yah, and I will be casting lots as well in front of it. And I'm gonna shoot this video and give y'all some insight on these customs, why they're important, why we should implement it back into our pre-exilic Israelite culture, and what are the benefits of restoring these customs that we lost after going into captivity. Okay. So anyway, let me show you this Cotton Mather's individual, and then I'm out of here, family. All right. I know a lot of y'all put things up. So Lucifer, when we go and we look at Job chapters 1 and chapter 2, the adversary that comes with the Ben Elohim, or the children of Israel, the sons of God, the Ben Elohim, or the sons of the mighty one, the sons of the power, they come with Hashatan. That is not Lucifer. Okay, people say that is not Lucifer. What you got to realize is that the so-called Bible, whether you just read the Torah only, whether you just read the Tanakh, whether you read the Torah, Tanakh, and the Brit Hadashah, was not written by one author at one period of time. It was written over hundreds of years. Okay, even over 1,000 years. It was written over time. It was redacted over time. It was compiled and it was codified over time. You have to keep these things in mind. And when you keep these things in mind, you can look at every text as individual before you look at it as an amalgamated conglomerate. Okay, this is important first. All right. So we have to look at the context of the actual book itself that we're reading. Who's the author? Who's the audience? What is going on culturally? What is going on historically? What's going on politically? What's going on socially? What's going on economically? What is going on spiritually? Okay, you have to assess all these things first before you can, as a background, before you can even read it, and before you can even take it and juxtapose it with another book. All right, this is important, very important. This is how you properly apply hermeneutics and exegesis to the text. All right, or what other people say midrash, whether it's agadah, if you're trying to extract principles from out of the narratives, or midrash halakha, if you're trying to find practical ways to implement the mitzvot by creating bridges in areas that there's gaps in, that doesn't give us specific instructions in regards to how to perform certain things like sacrificing the lamb for Passover. We don't have any intricate details on that, so we have to create a midrash halakha in order for us as a community to implement how we're going to do that type of sacrifice for that particular Hag or feast. All right. Is Ethiopia the Holy Land or Israel? Scripture says that Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God, and princes shall come out of Egypt. Well, I would say that Northeast Africa, from the Horn of Africa to Kemet, and from the Nile. Now, mind you, remember, the land that was promised to Abraham was the Nile to the Tigris Euphrates. All right. So the Nile region goes all the way to the south, where we have Omo and Herto. And these are sites in Ethiopia where the first Homo sapiens came on the scene. According to modern day science, 200,000 years ago, it was the birthplace of humanity, of the modern man. All right. Anatomically and behaviorally, a modern man. Okay. So from the areas in which the Great Lakes in Africa are, where Lake Victoria is at, for the Nile, going all the way from the Nile into the Nile Delta, where it spreads out like a flower and empties out into the Mediterranean Sea. From there all the way to the Tigris Euphrates, that whole region was considered Abraham's province, in which the inheritance is his. Okay, so that area and whatever it encompasses. So that's Ethiopia, that's Sudan, that's Egypt, that's the Sinai Peninsula, that's Israel, that's Saudi Arabia, that's ancient Mesopotamia, which is modern day Iraq now, etc. All that is the area in which the inheritance was promised. So the individuals or the nations that are in those regions are also to be considered individuals who will cleave unto Israel and be part of the chosen chosen remnant that Yah is coming back for. Okay, with the bloodline children of Israel being the leaders, and all those other nations also cleaving and clinging unto the children of Israel. All right, so it's to keep that in mind. All of that region is considered set apart, and the peoples in those nations, in those regions, Yah is also calling to them and bringing them in under Israel. Okay, and when I say Israel, I'm not talking about the state of Israel. I'm talking about the actual bloodline people who are Israel. Okay, and their obligation to those nations in which the text is speaking about. Hence why they have to be the beacon of light towards them. All right, let me get to this Cotton Mather and let me get off this line. I think y'all will appreciate and enjoy this. For those of you asking how to donate, again, you can click where it says, where you see the chat. Underneath the chat, you'll see your channel name. It'll say something, and then you click on the dollar symbol, and the dollar symbol will bring up a blue button that says send a super chat. You'll click send a super chat, and then you'll have the option to select how much you want to donate. All right, so that's there for those of you who are asking how can you donate directly to Kingdom Harbinger Ministries. Okay. Now, all right, so let's get into Cotton Mathers, and I'm done. Okay, I'm done, because otherwise, I love you guys and I'll be here all morning, but I need to get some rest. All right, but let me close all of this stuff so I don't get distracted. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Hold on. Close this. All right. So let me get now, I do have, for those of you who are interested in the Sabbath, I do have audio that I need to turn into a video. I'm going to try to work on it tomorrow and put it up there for y'all. That is not my lecture on the Sabbath, but that was a teleconference call that I was invited to. And the subject matter is the Sabbath a 24-hour period or a 12-hour period? And I listened for about an hour and some change. And it's one of my live streams. I played like a good 20-something minutes of it. I listened for an hour and some change. I asked to speak. I was allowed to speak. And my objective was to bring unity and harmony between both positions, because people are looking at it wrong. And I'll put that video up just to give you guys some insight before I do this full-fledged lecture on the Sabbath. All right. Okay. So let me go ahead and let me get to this post and let me get up out of here. But I think this is something interesting that I know y'all will definitely appreciate. Oh, I also have the crap test. That's funny. Look up the CRAP test. And that shows you how to vet a source before citing it, meaning check out the source. What questions do you ask to check out a source to ensure that it's valid enough in order to present it? Okay. So definitely look up the CRAP test. CRAP is an acronym. It stands for currency, reliability, authority, and purpose or point of view. All right. All right. So let me get to this Cotton Mather, right? Now, let me show you guys this, man. Let me show you guys this. This is, man. So let me remember I said Cotton Mather is one of the proponents. Well, actually, let me bring it out. I'm gonna put this guy out there, all right? And I be putting out, showing you guys these Puritans, these Calvinists, these Arminians, these Catholics, any one of these religious leaders of Christianity that people hold in high regard. I'm showing you guys the slaves that they had and how they treated their slaves. Whether they treated their slaves good or bad, it makes no difference to me. You have slaves, and that's a problem. Okay. So I like to bring out this information just to bring clarity on it and to make it public knowledge. Okay, so people can go back and investigate. But the pre-tribulation rapture theology originated in the 18th century with the Puritan preachers Increase and Cotton Mather. So Increase is the father of Cotton Mather, okay? And was popularized extensively in the 1830s by John Nelson Darby and the Plymouth Brethren, and further in the United States by the wide circulation of the Schofield Reference Bible in the early 20th century, all right? And you can go back and look that up online. You can actually grab that for yourself, the Schofield Study Bible or Reference Bible, all right? Now, the reason why I bring them up, because I mentioned in my Facebook Live video that this pre-tribulation rapture theory is very ironic that one of the first proponents of it was a slave master, okay? And again, I'm not saying that Cotton Mather was inherently evil. I disagree with him having slaves and enslaving my people, but he really wanted to try to restructure the Puritan faith and implement a moral code. Okay. And what I'm about to show you is one of his means of bringing forth a renaissance in regards to the Puritan movement. Right. Now, again, I mean, this is really disheartening, but I'm going to show it to y'all anyway. Right. But let's read about who Cotton Mather is. So this is from this is a lot of information, but I just want to pull out some important parts of his life. Now, I have it on my Facebook page for an Encyclopedia Britannica. Let me show you what I'm talking about first. Okay, so let me show you this first, right? Let me show you my screen. All right. So Cotton Mather, born February 12, 1663, Boston, Massachusetts Bay Colony, died February 13, 1728. American congressional minister and author, supporter of the old order of the ruling clergy, who became the most celebrated of all New England Puritans. he combined a mystical strain. Now, mind you, this is something totally different. This is something else he is known for, okay? And I need y'all to go back and research this guy about the inoculations. Man, this is deep. And the inspiration from Africa on this. Oh, man, this is deep. But I'm not going to focus on it. I want to focus on him being a religious leader, okay? All right. So the son of Increased Mather and a grandson of John Cotton and Richard Mather, Cotton Mather lived all his life in Boston. He entered Harvard at the age of 12, easily passed the entrance requirements to read and write Latin and to decline the Greek nouns and verbs. He devoted himself unremittingly to study and prayer. At 18, he received an MA degree from the hands of his father, who was president of the college. That's convenient. All right, so he devoted his life to praying, preaching, writing, and publishing, and still follow his main purpose in life of doing good. His book, Bonifacius, or Essays to Do Good, instructs others in humanitarian acts. Interesting, coming from a slave master, right? Some ideas being far ahead of his time. The schoolmaster to reward instead of punish his students. The physician to study the state of mind of his patient as a probable cause of illness. He established societies for community projects, all right? He joined his father in cautioning judges against the use of spectra evidence. Testimony of a victim of witchcraft. Remember, he was involved in the Salem witch trials as well. It's interesting, right? That he had been attacked by spectra bearing the appearance of someone he knew in the witchcraft trials and working for the ouster of Sir Edmund Andros as governor of Massachusetts. He was a leader in the fight for inoculation against smallpox. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is not really telling me what I want to see. He wrote and published more than 400 works. His magnum opus was Magnalia Christi Americana, an ecclesiastical history of America from the founding of New England to his own time. That's actually a good work, a good overall summary on that, right? His Menuductio ad Ministerium was a handbook of advice for young graduates to the ministry on doing good, on college love affairs, on poetry, music, and on style. His ambitious 20-year-old work on biblical learning was interrupted by his death, right? Now, I want to show you something. This is really not giving me what I want, even though it's Encyclopedia Britannica, right? I'm going to show you all that stuff that I showed you earlier, but let me go to Wikipedia, because Wikipedia actually just honed in on what it is that I want to show you, right? All right. So, let me go up here. Okay. It says Mather wrote more than 450 books and pamphlets, and his ubiquitous literary works made him one of the most influential religious leaders in America. He set the moral tone in the colonies and sounded the call for second and third generation Puritans to return to the theological roots of Puritanism, whose parents had left England for New England colonies of North America. The most important of these was Magnalia Christi Americana, which comprises 7 distinct books, many of which depict biographical and historical narratives. Mather was not known for writing in a neutral, unbiased perspective. Many, if not all, of his writings had bits and pieces of his own personal life in them, or were written for personal reasons, according to the literary historian Sackvon Barovich, right? Few Puritans more loudly decried the bosom serpent of egotism than did Cotton Mather. None more clearly exemplify it. Mather influenced early American science, and we get that here, blah, blah, blah. So this guy sounds like a phenomenal individual, right? He sounded like, man, this guy, he wanted to deal with ethical issues, and he wanted to restore the Puritans back to their theological roots. And, you know, he wrote 450 books and pamphlets, and he was just this awesome dude, right? All right, that's what you think. He's this awesome dude, right? But let's see if he's really this awesome dude. All right, we're gonna get into this. Let's see if he was really this awesome dude. I think this might be small, so let me here we go. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna show y'all this, and y'all can get this yourself, right? I gotta keep it like this zoom so you guys can see it. Hold on. Let me get it. All right. Okay. Oh man. So this is called The Negro Christianized by Cotton Mather. I'm gonna end off on this, okay? Written in 1706 by this beloved individual who's writing all this ethical things and trying to restore everybody back to the pure Puritan theological roots and going about teaching his students how to do good. And but this guy had slaves, and he's teaching other slave masters how to instruct his Negro servants to excite them and assist them to do good works while being slaves. This is crazy. So anyway, there were Negro slaves in New England before there were Puritans there. And by 1700, they numbered about 1,000 out of a total population of 90,000. Roughly half of them lived in Massachusetts and were concentrated in Boston and the coastal towns. Puritans actively participated in the colonial slave trade. Don't believe that there was no slave trade going on in the North. Massachusetts was big on that. Imported them from where? The West Indies, and sometimes selling Indian prisoners into overseas slavery. So to the people that believe in the 12 tribes chart, for the so-called Negro that is in the Massachusetts area, what tribe are they from? I would love to know this. This is why we have to go back to primary sources and read stuff to understand what's going on, all right? But anyway, Cotton Mather was a slave owner, and his congregation at the Second or North Church included both slave merchants and Negroes. The pamphlet reprinted here appeared in 1706 without his name, but his authorship of it was generally known. It calls on slave owners to educate their Negro servants in the Christian religion, to treat them justly and kindly, but they're still slaves, and to accept them as spiritual brethren. It includes 2 catechism and other instructional materials. It's like training a dog or something, you know what I'm saying, to obey its master. It's crazy. It advances both spiritual and pragmatic arguments. The Christian has a more responsibility for the souls of those in danger, and the Christianized servant is more profitable to his master. So if that servant is holding on to African traditional religion or just say Torah or Islam or something like that, wait, hold on, it's not showing the screen, my bad. I don't know why I wasn't showing screen. All right, here we go. I'm sorry, family. I caught that. I'm glad I caught that. All right. So anyway, this is what I was reading for y'all. I just want y'all to see it, okay? But it says here, the Christian has a more responsibility for the souls of those in danger, and the Christianized servant is more profitable to his master. So if that servant is not Christianized, the master is not going to get the best servant that he can get. Why? Because you're not going to be able to excite him and assist them. To excite and assist that good work, the instruction of Negro servants in Christianity. Man, this is incredible, family. This is incredible. It says Matthew's style in his work is unusually for him plain spoken and direct. He quotes only one church father, Chrysostom, and one classical philosopher, Cato, and one modern historian, Acosta. Moreover, his language seems particularly fresh, almost contemporary. Man, thy Negro is thy servant. Yeah, if thou dost grant that God hath made of one blood all nations of men, he is thy brother too. And at point say of it as it is. The text, the electronic text presented here was transcribed from the first edition printed at Boston in 1706. A few notes have been included as a list of typographical errors as well. It is a golden sentence that has been sometimes quoted from Chrysostom, that for a man to know the arts of alms, it is more than for a man to be crowned with the diadem of kings, but to convert one's soul unto God is more than to pour out 10,000 talents into the basket of the poor. Truly, to raise a soul from the dark state of ignorance and wickedness to the knowledge of God and the belief of Christ and the practice of our holy and lovely religion, 'tis the noblest work that ever was undertaken among the children of men, an opportunity to endeavor the conversion of a soul from a life of sin, which is indeed a woeful death, to fear God and to love Christ, and by a religious life to escape the paths of the destroyer. It cannot be but acceptable to all that have themselves had in themselves experience of such a conversion, and such an opportunity there is in your hands. O all you that have any Negroes in your houses, an opportunity to try whether you may be the whether you may not be the happy instruments of converting the blackest instances of blindness and baseness into admirable candidates of eternal blessedness. Let not this opportunity be lost. If you have any concern for souls, your own or others, but make a trial, whether by your means the most brutish of creatures upon earth may not come to be disposed in some degree like the angels of heaven, and the vassals of Satan become the children of God. Suppose these wretched Negroes to be the offspring of Ham, which yet is not so very certain. Family, are y'all looking at this? Family, I don't know if you're paying attention, but pay attention to what he's saying. Yet let us make a trial whether the Christ who dwelt in the tents of Shem have not some of his chosen among them. Woo, that's deep. Let us make a trial whether they have been scorched and blackened by the sun of Africa may not come to have their minds healed by the benign beams of the sun of righteousness. It has come to pass by the providence of God, without which there comes nothing to pass, that poor Negroes are cast under your government and protection. You take them into your families, you look on them as part of your possessions, and you expect from them, from their service, a support and perhaps an increase of your other possessions. How agreeable would it be if a religious master or mistress thus attended would now think with themselves, all right? The considerations that would move you to teach your Negroes the truths of the glorious gospel as far as you can, and bring them, if it may be, to live according to the truths, a sober and a righteous and godly life. They are innumerable. And if you would, after a reasonable manner, consider the pleas which we have to make on behalf of God and of the souls which he has made, one would consider that they will not be irresistible. Show yourselves men, and let rational arguments have their force upon you, to make you treat not as brutes, but as men, those rational creatures whom God has made your servants. Who made them your servants? God made them your servants, and we don't even know if they're the children of Ham. That's deep. Then we get into the catechisms, man. And yo, this is, man, yo, this thing is this incredible. Oh man, hold on. These prayers, man. A shorter catechism for the Negroes of a smaller capacity. Who made you in all the world? Answer: the great God made me to serve him. Who saved the children of men from all their misery? Jesus Christ, who is both God and man, saves them that look unto him. What will become of you when you die? If I obey Jesus Christ, my soul will go to the heavenly paradise. If I continue wicked, my soul will be cast among the devils. And here's a larger one for Negroes of bigger capacity. What had Jesus Christ, and pretty much they're saying, here's the dummies and here's the smart ones, right? And he goes on to say, additional 10 commandments are a very material of the instruction to be bestowed upon the Negroes. As soon as may be, they should be told that the great God spoke from heaven 10 commandments, and that all believers on Jesus Christ may labor to keep those commandments and be troubled and ashamed and beg pardon for the sake of Jesus Christ if they break them. What is the first commandment? Thou shalt have no other God. So this is stuff that they instructed the Negroes. If Negroes might learn to read the sacred scriptures, which make wise unto salvation, vast would be the advantage thereof unto them. Until that might be accomplished, would it not be advantageous unto them to make them learn by heart certain particular verses of scripture? So this is called cherry picking, okay? And they cherry picked it because they know that the vast majority of these Negroes cannot read the scriptures, because if they did read the scriptures, which they learned to do on their own, they caused revolts, a whole lot of them, once they read the scriptures, okay? Why should not the Negroes be taught the creed? If that which goes under the name the Apostles' Creed, they are several articles which were successively introduced in latter ages. The articles may unquestionably derive from the apostles, made a shorter collection, blah, blah, blah. So what I want you to do, family, you can get this article yourself online, all right? Just do look for the Negro Christianized, an essay to excite and assist the good work, the instruction of Negro servants in Christianity. You can look it up for yourself. You can download it and you can read the entire thing, right? So let me get back and let me wrap this up. All right. So family, thank y'all for rocking out with me. I appreciate that. I'm about to get off here and get ready for bed. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not. Please click thumbs up. If you have not hit the thumbs up, if you did like this video, you know, I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. I mean, man, I have hundreds of stuff that goes along with. I have so much There's so much information that I have, man. I could release something new every session, something brand new every session that people probably are not familiar with. But I'm giving this to you guys. You can go back and research this yourselves. You can look at this primary stuff, and you can get an idea of these Christian religious leaders who have slaves and said the best slave is a Christianized slave, best slave you can get. And they don't. And he said, "Hey, we don't even know if they're from Ham. I mean, we don't know. They could be a creature, a brutish creature, which he even says in there. So for somebody to do all these moral works and this renaissance of revitalizing the theological roots of Puritanism and all this other stuff, this dude was a slave master, and he looked down upon the slaves, but said, "Hey, look, let's treat the slaves kindly. You know, let's be nice to them. But the best way they can serve us is by being Christians and working for us." So that's a game changer. When you read that, that's a game changer. And like I said, 12 tribes, my brothers and sisters that subscribe to the 12 tribes chart, please tell me who are the Negroes in Boston, Massachusetts, who are indigenous to Boston. When I say indigenous, meaning that they were brought there from the West Indies and they were settled in Boston. Okay. And meaning that anybody that is Black or African-American that is native to Boston, you would say, oh, they're Judah. But no, they're not Judah. A lot of those slaves came from the West Indies. Okay. So how do you know who's Judah and who's any other tribe in the West Indies? How do you know that they're not from Haiti or Jamaica or from any other place in the West Indies or the Caribbean? How would you know that? So this is what I'm saying. When you do this research, a lot of the information starts coming to the surface, and we can get to decipher it for ourselves. Let the Most High Yah be a light. Let his Ruach empower and direct you and order your steps. Strive for righteousness, family, as best as you can. And love your fellow brother and your fellow sister as you will love yourself. And keep the Most High's mitzvot, all right? You have an obligation to your community to install proactivism to prevent any of these heinous crimes and acts that are being committed against us here, that is destroying us. The scripture said to the Israelites while they was in captivity in Jeremiah chapter 29, do not decrease in the cities that you're in, but to increase. We have to teach our brothers and sisters to love each other, to see each other, the same royal seed, the same royal bloodline. And in doing so, we will have more respect for each other once we understand who we are. So the consciousness of who we are is very important. That needs to be embedded in the minds of the youth as they grow up. And we have an obligation to install righteousness in any community in which we live in, family. Okay, we have that obligation. You must put your hand to the plow and put this work in, so that way we can set up a tangible community that is autonomous, that is restored by culture, all right, and is able to offer something, you know, to the nations around them, so they can eat from it and that they can come to our feet and they can learn. It is our time again to get the breathing room that we need to partake into the blessings of Yah for keeping his commandments, and the obligation that we have on a nationalistic level in order to raise our people up from their dead state and to bring them back to life and their dead state, turn them to Yah and force them to commit to their community. There's so much stuff we can do to renovate our community, to fix our community, to restore our community. And if you don't know where to start, I put blueprints on this channel. So go back and check it out. All right. So thank you, family, for watching. I appreciate that. I want to give all praise to the Most High Yah. I want to give a special honor to Yahshua HaMashiach, who is the Hagadol Kohen over the Melchizedek order. I want to give a shout out to the rest of my brothers and sisters that are out there that have watched, who do subscribe to the things that we teach at KHM, and who don't subscribe to the things that we have at KHM. Thank you guys for your participation in chat. Thank you guys for thumbing up this video and watching it. Thank you for staying up for almost 2.5 hours plus enjoying this session with us. I hope you all enjoyed it. I know it was a lot of information, but you can go back and stop the video and watch it as you see fit. And all the contact information as well as the donation information will be in the description when this video is posted. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. All right. Thank you, family, for being here with me, for your support. I do this for y'all. Any victory of mine is vicarious for y'all as well. And I look forward to speaking to y'all again. All right. And, you know, next live stream session, I'm going to aim for next weekend. But remember, next Saturday, I will be teaching, and whatever it is that I'm going to be teaching, I'm going to put that video up. But if any of you have a suggestion, feel free to email me at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Email me a suggestion of what you would like for me to teach on. And, you know, if it inspires me enough, I'll choose it and I'll rock with it. And if you want a shout out for it, also let me know. All right. So love you, family. Thank you for watching. Peace, shalom, BP, family. You know what it is. Love you guys.